the great wave of magical technology. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176, City of Chaos. Dear Princess Avril, welcome to Caesar City. I hope you and your friends can have fun in Caesar City and get what you need. Next to the magic circle, an official in charge of the magic circle bowed humbly to Avril and others and said, Uncle Zickle, I didn't expect to meet you here. Thank you for your kind words. I think we will definitely get what we deserve. Avril looked up and nodded to the official in charge, then said to Yunfan and others, this is Uncle Zickle, who used to be a member of my father's royal guard and is now assigned to Caesar City as an adjutant. Princess Avril, please don't praise me like this. I just made an unforgivable mistake and was sent here by His Majesty. The official in charge of the magic circle smiled bitterly. Forget it, Uncle Zickle. Let's not talk about this for now. As soon as Avril finished speaking, she took the lead and walked out along the street. Yunfan and the others looked around curiously, looking at the people and things around. Yunfan had been to 3 or 2 big cities some time ago, including the imperial capital, but Caesar City was indeed very different from other cities. Although the orcs, barbarians, and goblins in Caesar City could not be said to be everywhere, they were not rare. There were some high-level adventurers everywhere in the city. Yunfan and the elites of the academy were not conspicuous here. Some buildings along the street were built with hard rocks. Compared with the buildings in other regions of the empire, they were less artistic and more fierce. Because of the serious racial chaos in Caesar City, there were often some riots and conflicts. Not only were the walls built very solid, but even the buildings in the city were also mainly in this style. The people here are generally very strong. We should try to keep a low profile and not cause too much trouble. Yunfan reminded everyone in a low voice. The other members of the mercenary team, including Avril, nodded in agreement. Although there are many imperial soldiers on patrol, if something unexpected really happens, they may not be able to play a role. On the way, Yunfan noticed that there were many weapon shops, pharmacy shops, magic item shops, grocery stores, some entertaining taverns, slave farms selling slaves, and trading places for various materials. Yunfan instinctively disliked the slave trade. In other cities, slave trade was carried out secretly, but here in Caesar City, it was carried out blatantly. Although he was very disgusted with these things, he now knew that his strength was limited, and he had no ability to change all this. In the next conversation, if it weren't for the special terrain here, there wouldn't be so many slave traders. Merchants all know what kind of business is the most profitable. I never thought that elves, which are so rare in other places, are actually regular visitors here. The shouts of vendors, the neighing of knights' horses, and the sounds of conflicts and fights on the street were all beyond Yunfan's imagination. You never know when a disaster might happen. All this made Yunfan feel extremely surprised, and he also had a clearer understanding of this chaotic city. Many people couldn't help shaking their heads when they saw Yunfan and his performance. Haha, these little guys look like flowers in a greenhouse. It should be their first time to come to our Caesar City. No wonder they are so curious. They won't be so surprised when they get used to it. Who doesn't have a first time? When we first came here, weren't they like this? It's just that few of the partners who came with us at that time are still alive now. Caesar City is a good place to make money, but it also comes with countless troubles. I hope these little guys can have better luck and don't run into those guys. Princess Avril, it seems that many people are watching us. Is it really okay to continue like this? Yunfan frowned and looked at Avril, asking, what? Avril was slightly stunned. Hey, that's right. A few guys have been following us sneakily. After Yunfan's reminder, Kim and others also noticed their current situation, who made them seem to have the words "we are rookies" written on their heads. Unexpectedly, Avril and the others turned around suddenly. The people who were following them immediately felt guilty and panicked. Did these rookies find out that we were following them? Then boss, should we follow them? From the clothes on these little guys, they should be students in the academy. I'm afraid they don't have anything good on them. Our goal is, it would be bad if these little guys alerted the enemy. It turned out that these guys came to Caesar City for other purposes. It was just that they saw Avril and the others looked like rookies, so they suddenly wanted to steal. Now that they have been discovered, they gave up the idea of stealing. Noticing the departure of those people, Kim still frowned. Why did these people leave suddenly? Since they have left, I won't care about them. I'm unfamiliar with the place here. It's better to be less troublesome. I should be more careful in the future. Yunfan said lightly as he looked at the backs of those people going away. Dante, Kim, are you guys too suspicious? Maybe those people were just passing by us at first. Avril retorted. After saying this, Yunfan looked at Avril in surprise. Yunfan really had no way to deal with Avril, the innocent little princess. He smiled and said, Your Highness, you are always so kind, but I want to tell you that you should not have the intention to harm others, but you must be on guard against others. You should not have the intention to harm others, but you must be on guard against others. This sentence sounds very philosophical, so I accepted it reluctantly. Although Avril had accepted Yunfan's statement, she still held her head high and looked very arrogant. What an arrogant little princess. Yunfan was speechless in his heart. It was probably because His Majesty did not want Avril to see too much of the darkness of this world, so he cultivated Avril's current personality. But is this personality really good? Chapter 177 Auction. While Yunfan was thinking about it, Avril looked at Yunfan suspiciously and said again, Dante, I think you are really doing this for my own good, otherwise you wouldn't say such a thing. Yunfan was stunned and immediately trembled in his heart. Avril seemed to have some of his meaning in her words. Could it be that Avril was not the same as he imagined, and what she showed now was not really herself? Yunfan didn't want to think about these brain-burning questions. In his previous life, he was a mad scientist, and in this life he just wanted to be a mad magician. Odysseus Auction House. This auction house was opened by the Odysseus family, one of the 6 major forces in Caesar City. The Odysseus family is also a very important existence in the empire. There are many noble families who obey them. Even an ancient family like the Stephen family in Caesar City dare not easily offend the Odysseus family. People came and went in the auction house. As a royal princess, Princess Avril and Yunfan were arranged in the VIP room on the 2nd floor. However, because this was the first time for Avril and the others to come to Caesar City, not many people in the city knew the identities of Avril and the others. However, seeing that they were arranged to the noble area, they also knew that Avril and the others had extraordinary identities. After a while, several heads of noble families and their followers came to the 2nd floor. Yunfan and the others did not expect to see a few acquaintances, such as Jesse and Stephen. Isn't this classmate Jesse and Stephen? Long time no see. Yunfan greeted him happily. Jesse and Stephen never thought that he would meet Yunfan and the others here. For this guy who made him and his family lose face, he wanted to crush him to ashes. He never thought that Yunfan would be so shameless to come and say hello to him. Long time no see. I didn't expect to meet Junior Dante here. Jesse and Stephen also pretended to be very happy. I'm really sorry for hurting you during the sparring some time ago, Senior Stephen. I don't know if your injury has completely healed. It would be bad if it affects the sinuses between the colleges. Yunfan put on a look of grief. And Stephen's face turned pale instantly. He never thought that Yunfan would talk about the challenge in public. This was a slap in his face. Stephen glared at Yunfan fiercely and then gritted his teeth and said, My injury has completely healed, so don't worry about it, junior brother. After that, he turned and walked towards a room. It seems to be a bit interesting. Many noble children looked at Yunfan thoughtfully and said, It seems that the news that was spread some time ago is true. There is a guy named Dante who has slapped the Stephen family in the face more than once. Avril and others were taken to a private room by their entourage. Dante, you are awesome. I have long disliked those bastards in the Stephen family. Avril seemed very happy that Yunfan had just lost face to Jesse and Stephen. Because the auction had not started yet, many people who participated in the auction were late. Master Toynbee, how are you? An old man in his 50s or 60s, with grey hair and beard, but very energetic, walked into the auction house, and many people greeted him. Haha, I didn't expect to meet you old guys here. Why are you here for that thing too? Master Toynbee smiled and looked at the people who greeted him. Old man, aren't you asking, even though you know the answer? Seeing the people who greeted him, some noble children in the distance, showed a trace of fear. If that's the case, then everyone take your seats. Whoever wins will depend on their own abilities. Recently, Master Toynbee has launched a batch of new potions. He must have made a lot of money. Master Toynbee is here. I'm afraid it won't be our turn to get the real treasures in this auction. Hearing this, one of the old men glanced at Master Toynbee and laughed. The meaning was self-evident. That's right. How can our financial resources compare to the master's? Another old man also said with a smile. Although they flattered each other, they were actually fighting openly and secretly. Master Toynbee's expression gradually became depressed. The auction items that appeared this time were of great significance to him. Looking at the sarcasm in the words of the two people in front of him, how could he not hear it? But he could only swallow this breath. Although he had made a lot of money by refining a batch of new potions recently, his foundation was still very thin, and it was impossible to compare with those people from big families and big forces. The auction was about to start, and all the participants in the auction had already taken their seats. The auctioneer in charge of the auction was a beautiful blonde girl, wearing a somewhat transparent noble dress, with a delicate face, full of endless temptation. It must be said that the people of the Odysseus family are very smart. Such a sexy girl is easy to be sold at a high price. Oh my god, I didn't expect that this auction was hosted by Balia, the current beauty of the Odysseus auction house. I don't know what good things will be auctioned today. As soon as one person finished speaking, the auction over there had already begun. Welcome, distinguished guests, come to our Odysseus auction house. For this auction, our Odysseus family has prepared a lot of treasures for you. Many of them are magical objects found in various ruins. I hope you will like them. The girl's voice was very pleasant, with a hint of temptation, which made people want to take it for themselves. Boy, this little girl is not simple. Sakadin's voice sounded instantly. Oh, how is it not simple? Yunfan asked involuntarily. This little girl is not practicing traditional elemental magic, but charm magic, a kind of magic that is rarely seen in the god realm. Sakadin said. The first lot is a 5th level healing potion made by the great pharmacist Master Kedon, the life-giving potion. This potion is made from the grass of life, and contains a very rich breath of life. It has an unexpected effect on healing. The starting price is 2 million gold coins. As soon as the girl finished speaking, someone raised a sign. Because this thing can save lives. For adventurers who often go in and out of dangerous situations, a good healing potion can undoubtedly save lives at critical moments. 2 million gold coins. 2.5 million gold coins. Chapter 178 Photographing the Ring. 3 million gold coins. 5 million gold coins. After the price climbed to 5 million, it stopped. After all, although the 5th level potion was rare, it was not unheard of, so it was worth the price. The annual income of an ordinary noble family could only reach 5 million. If it was more, it would be a bit of a loss. Yunfan was actually very interested in the 5th level potion. He was originally going to get involved, but Sakadin told him that it was not necessary because he also had the formula for this potion. 5 million gold coins once. 5 million gold coins twice. 5 million gold coins 3 times. Deal. Congratulations to this gentleman for bidding on this life-giving potion. Perhaps because of Sakadin's words, Yunfan felt that this potion was nothing special, so he looked in the direction of the auction of the potion with a strange look in his eyes and muttered, he actually spent 5 million gold coins to buy the potion. Brother, what's with your expression? Although 5 million gold coins is not a low price, this 5th level potion is almost worth this price. Kim explained with a smile. Yunfan then remembered Sakadin's identity. Something that is worthless in the eyes of a god is also very valuable on this continent. Since the first lot has been taken, let's auction the second lot. A mysterious space ring. Please take a look. Belia slowly lifted up a ring. This space ring was crystal clear without a single flaw. Perhaps everyone is familiar with storage space rings, but this space ring is different from ordinary rings. It has a space of more than 200 square meters, which can be called the best. This ring was brought back by a 6th level warrior from the Arc de Triomphe ruins. The Arc de Triomphe ruins are the most dangerous and the richest treasures. The treasures produced by the ruins are of extremely high quality, and many of them have been collected by some masters. If it weren't for the fact that the warrior was short of funds recently, I think he would never have sold this top quality ring. The starting price of this ring is 10 million gold coins. Balia's voice was ups and downs with a hint of charm. Good stuff. Sakadan's voice sounded in Ji Yunfan's heart. This is a rare treasure. TSK, isn't it just an ordinary space ring? The space is indeed a little bigger, but it's not worth 10 million gold coins. Ji Yunfan curled his lips and said that his space ring was completely enough. If it's just an ordinary space ring, it's naturally not worth this price. What if this ring seals an 8th level defense magic? Sakadan smiled. It seals an 8th level defense magic? Ji Yunfan was slightly stunned. What if I say this thing is an 8th level magic defense scroll with unlimited use? Fuck, let alone unlimited use. Even an ordinary 8th level defense scroll would cost more than this price. Ji Yunfan showed a trace of joyful smile. Sakadan, is this really equivalent to an 8th level magic defense scroll with unlimited use? Believe me, you can't afford to lose or be fooled. Why do you feel like a pimp? Do you think anyone can tell? Almost zero. I only occasionally saw related records in the family classics and recognized this thing. It's just a 200 square meter space ring. This thing can only hold some things. The effect is the same as buying a few intermediate space rings. Who would spend so much money to buy this thing? Ms. Balia, it's not that we don't give you face. Even if you host the auction, you can't set the price without any conscience. Balia blushed slightly, as if she was a little embarrassed by the question. In fact, she also felt that the price for a space ring was a bit high. The auction fell into a cold atmosphere for a while. Balia was a little anxious at the moment. If no one bid, this space ring would be unsold. To be honest, this space ring was not originally intended to be auctioned, but the owner of this space ring was a little special. Okay, Miss Balia, I think you should not wait any longer and move on to the next auction. No one will buy this thing. This 10 million gold coins. Ji Yunfan suddenly raised his sign. What? There is actually someone bidding. I don't know if this person is a fool just to buy a space ring at such a high price. Maybe he is a second generation rich man who knows nothing and has some money at home, so he comes here to show off. But he has the capital to show off, but you probably won't make 10 million gold coins in your lifetime. As if you can make so much money. It's a waste of money. Dante, do you have money, but nowhere to spend it? Didn't you hear what others said? This thing has no function, except to make the space bigger, and it's not worth the price at all. Avril looked at Ji Yunfan in disbelief. Yeah, brother, even if you have money, you shouldn't waste it like this. If you really have money, but nowhere to spend it, I can help you spend it. Kim also kept shouting. This thing is a good thing, definitely worth the price. Ji Yunfan said mysteriously. What else can this thing do besides being a space ring? Kim and others obviously didn't believe it. You will know it later. This gentleman bid 10 million gold coins. Is there any more? Seeing someone bidding, Balia breathed a sigh of relief. She didn't want her item to fail to sell. In fact, she didn't think anyone else would bid a higher price. 10 million gold coins once. 10 million gold coins twice. 10 million gold coins 3 times. Deal. Congratulations to this gentleman for winning this mysterious space ring. A few minutes later, a servant dressed up as a girl and brought the space ring of more than 200 square meters into Ji Yunfan's box. This is the space ring that the gentleman won, but I don't know how the gentleman wants to pay for it. Ji Yunfan checked the space ring and nodded with satisfaction. Then he took out 2 cards from his space ring. These are 2 anonymous gold coin cards, each with 5 million gold coins. You can check them here directly. The girl took the 2 gold coin cards respectfully and scanned them on an unknown machine. Both cards showed 5 million gold coins. Then the girl bowed respectfully to Ji Yunfan and the others, and then left Ji Yunfan's box. You are really rich. You spent 10 million gold coins without blinking an eye. Avril pouted and said unhappily. She didn't think what Ji Yunfan said just now was true. Chapter 179 Photographing the ring. 3 million gold coins. 5 million gold coins. After the price climbed to 5 million, it stopped. After all, although the 5th level potion was rare, it was not unheard of, so it was worth the price. The annual income of an ordinary noble family could only reach 5 million. If it was more, it would be a bit of a loss. Ji Yunfan was actually very interested in the 5th level potion. He was originally going to get involved, but Sakadin told him that it was not necessary because he also had the formula for this potion. 5 million gold coins once. 5 million gold coins twice. 5 million gold coins 3 times. Deal. Congratulations to this gentleman for bidding on this life-giving potion. Perhaps because of Sakadin's words, Ji Yunfan felt that this potion was nothing special, so he looked in the direction of the auction of the potion with a strange look in his eyes and muttered, he actually spent 5 million gold coins to buy the potion. Brother, what's with your expression? Although 5 million gold coins is not a low price, this 5th level potion is almost worth this price. Kim explained with a smile. Ji Yunfan then remembered Sakadin's identity. Something that is worthless in the eyes of a god is also very valuable on this continent. Since the first lot has been taken, let's auction the second lot. A mysterious space ring. Please take a look. Belia slowly lifted up a ring. This space ring was crystal clear without a single flaw. Perhaps everyone is familiar with storage space rings, but this space ring is different from ordinary rings. It has a space of more than 200 square meters, which can be called the best. This ring was brought back by a 6th level warrior from the Arc de Triomphe ruins. The Arc de Triomphe ruins are the most dangerous and the richest treasures. The treasures produced by the ruins are of extremely high quality, and many of them have been collected by some masters. If it weren't for the fact that the warrior was short of funds recently, I think he would never have sold this top quality ring. The starting price of this ring is 10 million gold coins. Belia's voice was ups and downs with a hint of charm. Good stuff. Sakadin's voice sounded in Ji Yunfan's heart. This is a rare treasure. TSK, isn't it just an ordinary space ring? The space is indeed a little bigger, but it's not worth 10 million gold coins. Ji Yunfan curled his lips and said that his space ring was completely enough. If it's just an ordinary space ring, it's naturally not worth this price. What if this ring seals an 8th level defense magic? Sakadin smiled. It seals an 8th level defense magic? Ji Yunfan was slightly stunned. What if I say this thing is an 8th level magic defense scroll with unlimited use? Fuck, let alone unlimited use. Even an ordinary 8th level defense scroll would cost more than this price. Ji Yunfan showed a trace of joyful smile. Sakadin, is this really equivalent to an 8th level magic defense scroll with unlimited use? Believe me, you can't afford to lose or be fooled. Why do you feel like a pimp? Do you think anyone can tell? Almost zero. I only occasionally saw related records in the family classics and recognized this thing. It's just a 200 square meter space ring. This thing can only hold some things. The effect is the same as buying a few intermediate space rings. Who would spend so much money to buy this thing? Ms. Balia, it's not that we don't give you face. Even if you host the auction, you can't set the price without any conscience. Balia blushed slightly, as if she was a little embarrassed by the question. In fact, she also felt that the price for a space ring was a bit high. The auction fell into a cold atmosphere for a while. Balia was a little anxious at the moment. If no one bid, this space ring would be unsold. To be honest, this space ring was not originally intended to be auctioned, but the owner of this space ring was a little special. Okay, Miss Balia, I think you should not wait any longer and move on to the next auction. No one will buy this thing. This 10 million gold coins. Ji Yunfan suddenly raised his sign. What? There is actually someone bidding. I don't know if this person is a fool just to buy a space ring at such a high price. Maybe he is a second generation rich man who knows nothing and has some money at home, so he comes here to show off. But he has the capital to show off, but you probably won't make 10 million gold coins in your lifetime. As if you can make so much money. It's a waste of money. Dante, do you have money, but nowhere to spend it? Didn't you hear what others said? This thing has no function, except to make the space bigger, and it's not worth the price at all. Avril looked at Ji Yunfan in disbelief. Yeah, brother, even if you have money, you shouldn't waste it like this. If you really have money, but nowhere to spend it, I can help you spend it. Kim also kept shouting. This thing is a good thing, definitely worth the price. Yunfan said mysteriously. What else can this thing do besides being a space ring? Kim and others obviously didn't believe it. You will know it later. This gentleman bid 10 million gold coins. Is there any more? Seeing someone bidding, Balia breathed a sigh of relief. She didn't want her item to fail to sell. In fact, she didn't think anyone else would bid a higher price. 10 million gold coins once. 10 million gold coins twice. 10 million gold coins 3 times. Deal. Congratulations to this gentleman for winning this mysterious space ring. A few minutes later, a servant dressed up as a girl and brought the space ring of more than 200 square meters into Yunfan's box. This is the space ring that the gentleman won, but I don't know how the gentleman wants to pay for it. Yunfan checked the space ring and nodded with satisfaction. Then he took out 2 cards from his space ring. These are 2 anonymous gold coin cards, each with 5 million gold coins. You can check them here directly. The girl took the 2 gold coin cards respectfully and scanned them on an unknown machine. Both cards showed 5 million gold coins. Then the girl bowed respectfully to Yunfan and the others, and then left Yunfan's box. You are really rich. You spent 10 million gold coins without blinking an eye. Avril pouted and said unhappily. She didn't think what Yunfan said just now was true. Chapter 180 Soul Nourishing Potion Formula. Brother, is your grocery store really so profitable? If I had known, I would have opened a grocery store. Kim muttered. Kim, I'm not saying anything bad about you, but what can you sell in a grocery store? Look at the things in Dan's grocery store. They are so rare that others can't even imitate them. Elvis curled his lips. Elvis, it's as if you can open a store that is exactly the same as Dan's. I didn't say I could open a store that is exactly the same. I'm very self-aware in this regard. I'm not like some people. Are you looking for a fight? Who's afraid of who? Why are you 2 arguing? The 2 people who were bickering with Amy shook their heads helplessly. The auction was still going on, but Yunfan had already studied his space ring. Sakan, did you make a mistake? It's just an ordinary space ring. If you discovered the secret of this thing, how could I have discovered it without others trying? What you said seems to make sense. Since you know how to use this thing, tell me quickly. Don't worry, what's yours will always be yours. The auction below is a 6th level armor made by the dwarf master Curtis Edison. As Belle said, 2 people in costumes came in carrying a golden box. Belle then walked to the golden box and gently pressed a button in front of it. The golden box suddenly opened, and a set of exquisite armor appeared in front of everyone. This set of armor is integrated, and the whole body is shining with crystal silver, without a single flaw, which can be called the best. As everyone knows, the master has made great achievements in forging, and the armor he has made is the best of the same level. The starting price of this armor is 7 million gold coins. Belle smiled and talked about the properties of the armor. Finally, there is something good. This thing is definitely a good thing to save my life. I have been to the dwarf tribe before and wanted to ask the dwarf master Curtis Edison to help me make a piece of armor, but I have never been able to do so. I didn't expect to have this opportunity here today. Although this is a good thing, the price is too expensive. It costs 7 million gold coins. It's almost killing me. The armor has reached the 6th level. I'm afraid it will cost more than 10 million gold coins. People like us who have no money and power can only sigh in despair. For ordinary adventurers, it is not certain that they can earn 7 million gold coins in their lifetime. Some of the noble children below have already started bidding 7 million gold coins, 8 million gold coins, 9 million gold coins, 10 million gold coins. The competition was very fierce. Yunfan glanced at the bustling scene outside and smiled bitterly. To be honest, I thought I was very rich some time ago, but today I found that I'm still a commoner. 20 million gold coins. A faint voice said, and the whole hall was silent for a moment. He actually increased the price by 10 million at once. It was indeed worthy of being a wealthy aristocratic family. It seemed that he had to give up. There were a few people who coveted this armor. From the voice, they had recognized the identity of the bidder and could only give up sadly. No one raised the price for a long time. This gentleman bid 20 million gold coins. Is there anyone who can bid higher? Balia asked in an elegant voice. 20 million gold coins once. 20 million gold coins twice. 20 million gold coins 3 times. Deal. The hammer in Balia's hand fell heavily. 20 million gold coins is undoubtedly an astonishing price. Looking at the high prices of the auction items one by one, Yunfan deeply realized the meaning of poverty. The next lot is the egg of the 6th level magical beast flying armor bird. Everyone should know that the 6th level magical beast flying armor bird is a very good mount. Even the 7th and 8th level masters rarely have this kind of magical beast as a mount. Imagine a low level magician with the help of a flying armor bird. Even a 7th level master would not dare to provoke him easily. The reserve price of this flying armor bird's magical beast egg is 1.2 million gold coins. Bid now. 1.2 million gold coins doesn't seem expensive. Yunfan said in confusion. It's not expensive, but this thing is a pit. Whoever buys it will be unlucky. Kim pouted. What do you mean? The growth period of this kind of magical beast is not short. It may take at least 20 years to raise it to the 6th level. I don't know how much resources will be consumed during this period. When Kim said this, he couldn't help but look at the cup of the earth bear that Avril had taken away a long time ago. This guy has actually reached the growth period. Her Royal Highness the Princess is indeed rich and powerful. The monster egg was finally bought by an adventurer who didn't know the truth for 1.5 million. Kim glanced at the man with a gloating look. I don't know if this guy will be able to laugh in the future. The guy who bid for the monster egg seemed very excited. He felt like he was in a dream. He unconsciously covered the monster egg with his hands, and his expression was a little uneasy, as if he was afraid of being robbed. The next item to be auctioned was a complete set of 4th level suits from dwarves. This suit sealed the soul of a wind fox. The wearer can use the wind fox talent and speed up. The starting price is 20 million gold coins. Seeing this 4th level suit, many people's eyes lit up slightly. Although this thing is not of higher level, it is definitely a small top grade product. 50 million gold coins. Everyone was dumbfounded. The entire auction hall was silent for a long time. Who is this guy? He simply doesn't give others a chance. What a pity. If I wear this suit, it is not impossible to increase my strength by half. The price is a bit high. Kim shook her head and said with some disappointment, "You, stop daydreaming. I'm afraid you are not worth this price, even if you are sold." Avril pouted. Many people who participated in the auction are now very depressed. One by one, the good things were auctioned off. They have nothing to do with it. Moreover, they dare not raise the price. The next auction is the formula of the soul nourishing potion commissioned by a senior. Belia said with a smile. Maybe ordinary people don't know this potion, but I think the masters of pharmacists should know them. The soul nourishing potion and the soul condensing potion are called the soul treasures. The soul nourishing potion can treat soul injuries, and the soul condensing potion can improve the condensation of the soul. Of course, we will choose to auction these two potions separately. Please cherish this opportunity. To treat soul injuries, you must know that once the soul is damaged, the average magician is basically useless. Chapter 181 Recipe Auction. Hearing Balia's clear and pleasant voice, both the adventurers below and the VIP area staff on the 2nd floor were excited. The soul nourishing potion and the soul condensing potion are known as the soul treasures. Since the appearance of these two potions, they have caused a wave of craze throughout the continent. Many magicians whose souls were injured have recovered to normal, and many magicians have made rapid progress after drinking the soul condensing potion. Some have directly broken through to high level magicians. Some people who are not talented have become magicians in one fell swoop, and their soul power and mental power have been greatly improved. In this case, these two potions are almost hard to find. But there are too few of these two kinds of elixirs circulating. No one knows where these two potions come from and who made them. Occasionally, a potion appears, and generally only those top noble families can buy these two potions. Today, the formula actually appeared. This is simply impossible. Master Toynbee's eyes flashed with light. He came here for the formula of these two potions, and even many people came for this formula. The atmosphere at the auction venue was very lively. Seeing this, the auctioneer Bailier on the stage smiled and said, I think I don't need to say anything more about these two treasures. We will use no reserve price for this auction. Well, let's not talk too much now. Let's start the auction. 1 million gold coins. 5 million gold coins. 50 million gold coins. 100 million gold coins. The price rose rapidly. Master Toynbee was also excited, and his face flushed. He was ready to take out all his belongings and bid 150 million to bid for the formula of the soul-nourishing potion. This was the limit of his current financial resources. Seeing that the price of the potion had risen to 100 million gold coins, he felt that the possibility of him being able to bid for the potion was really pitifully small. I, Toynbee, bid 150 million and hope that everyone can give me face. Master Toynbee no longer cared about his face. He had already risked everything for the potion formula. Many people looked at Toynbee in surprise and became a little hesitant. Old man, I don't think you have such a big face. An equally old voice sounded. I, Kenan, bid 200 million. Kenan Habakak, the vice president of the Alchemy Association. I didn't expect him to come to the auction. Does that mean he is here to participate in the auction on behalf of the Alchemy Association? Hearing the man's name, many people have guessed his identity. I, Bright Clarence, bid 230 million. Fuck, Cardinal Wright Clarence of the Holy See. Does that mean even the people of the Holy See are involved? I, Marcellus Swift, bid 250 million. Fuck, Marcellus Swift, the vice president of the Imperial Pharmacist Association. This. I, Wolf Christopher, bid 300 million. This is the right prime minister of the empire. Suddenly, almost all the major forces in the empire sent important figures to participate in the auction. Some people from small families and small forces did not dare to show up again. This was no longer a competition they could participate in. All the major forces joined the melee, and the price of the potion formula was driven higher and higher by them, and it has been raised to 400 million or 500 million, and there is no sign of stopping. Oh my god, this is what a rich man is. He spent hundreds of millions without blinking an eye. Yunfan smiled bitterly. I didn't expect that even my uncle Wolf Christopher came. It seems that my father attaches great importance to the potion formula. However, the price is too high. My plan to buy the formula and give it to my father has failed. Avril sighed and said to herself unhappily, my princess, even if you can take a picture of the formula, do you think we have the ability to keep it? Yunfan smiled and shook his head. Sakan, aren't you a god level pharmacist? Do you have the formula for these two potions? Yunfan asked secretly in his heart. I have the formula for these two potions. Sakan said. That's great. If I can match the concentration potion, won't my mental power rise rapidly like a rocket? Yunfan said with a grin. Yunfan, I'm afraid your plan will fail this time. These two medicine machines are not as good as you think. Why? Taking this medicine is actually overdrawing your own potential. Although this medicine allows you to improve rapidly in the early stage, it also ruins the possibility of becoming a god. Sakurden said faintly. Oh my god, this medicine actually has such a big disadvantage. Why are these people fighting so fiercely? Yunfan asked incredulously. Maybe these people don't know the disadvantages to be solved, but the person who sells this medicine formula should know. Otherwise he shouldn't take out the medicine formula. I just don't know what this guy's purpose is. Sakurden said. Anyway, he probably doesn't have any good intentions. Forget it, these things are not something a small person like me can control. Even if I tell everything, I'm afraid no one will believe what I say. Maybe they will think I'm a guy with ulterior motives. Yunfan shook his head. Brother, why are you shaking your head here? Are you sad because you don't have the money to auction this medicine formula? Kim thought he knew the truth. This thing is not a good thing. How can I be sad about this formula? Yunfan smiled and did not explain much. What do you mean by this? It seems that you know this potion very well. Avril looked at Yunfan curiously. I just have a feeling that everything in this world is fair. If you want to get it, you must pay. Maybe the price of using it is not acceptable to people. Yunfan said lightly. You are always mysterious and talk in a set of ways. I really don't know where you get so many great truths. Avril turned her head and continued to stare at the auction. Brother, tell me honestly, how much money have you made recently? Kim suddenly remembered that Yunfan actually spent 10 million to buy a space ring. I only made more than 12 million during this period. Yunfan said calmly. I've earned more than 20 million gold coins, but you spent 10 million gold coins to buy a space ring. I really don't know how to describe you now, brother. Kim looked incredible and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This ring is worth so much money. Yunfan had already put the ring on the middle finger of his right hand and stroked it gently. Chapter 180 to co-production. It's not a solution for everyone to continue like this. How about we auction it together? Just when the auction price had risen to 1 billion, someone suddenly said something. The people from the big forces fell silent for a moment. Although each of them wanted to get the potion formula alone, it was impossible to do so. In that case, I will pay 100 million gold coins for one share. After a short period of careful consideration, the people from the big forces have reached a consensus. Perhaps because they saw that the big forces had reached a consensus, the auction of the soul condensing potion formula was not an auction without a reserve price. The asking price was 1 billion, and no one objected. The next few items were very ordinary. Although they did not fail to sell, they did not sell for a high price. Just when Yunfan was already losing interest, a piece of brown ancient wood was brought to the auction table. Yunfan immediately felt that the seedling of the world tree in the sea of consciousness seemed to tremble with excitement. What is this? Yunfan tried his best to communicate with the seedling of the world tree to make it not so excited. At the same time, the group of people who had followed Yunfan and his team were also staring at the brown ancient wood on the auction table. This treasure has finally appeared. We must take it down. Leader, can this thing really rescue my god from the seal? How can it be false? Once I rescue my god from the seal, I will definitely be recognized by my god, and it is not impossible to become an archbishop. This is a mysterious ancient sacred wood in front of everyone. Although the appraisers of our auction cannot confirm the source of this sacred wood, it cannot cover up the magic of the sacred wood. Our auction once invited an 8th level fire magician to burn it with 8th level magic, and invited an 8th level warrior to chop it, but it could not cause any damage to it. If the sacred wood is made into armor, wouldn't it be able to defend against 8th level professionals? That has to be successful. Even an 8th level fire magician can't cause any damage. I'm afraid only the legendary holy weapon forgers can use the sacred wood as material. In fact, Balia didn't say something. Their auction had already invited a saint weapon forger to forge the sacred tree, but even if it was a saint weapon forger, it would be powerless to do anything with the sacred tree. Forget it, I don't know any saint weapon forgers. Even if I buy it, it's just a waste. This thing has no other use except for some collection value. The people of the big forces were somewhat interested in this sacred tree. They believed that they could find a saint weapon forger. If they could forge a saint weapon, it would be very useful for these big forces. The reserve price is 5 million gold coins. The bidding starts now. 5 million gold coins. 10 million gold coins. 15 million gold coins. 20 million gold coins. The auction once again ushered in a climax, and the price continued to rise. There was only one copy of the material, unlike the alchemy potion formula, that could be copied and transcribed, so there was no such thing as a joint purchase. 100 million gold coins. 200 million gold coins. Yunfan looked at the only 10 million in his hand and shook his head helplessly. It seemed that he had no chance to get this mysterious sacred tree. However, Yunfan was still very curious about this sacred tree. Why did he want the seedling of the world tree in his sea of consciousness so much? Damn, how can these bastards be so rich? The people who had followed Yunfan and his friends were now a little ferocious. Bid one by one. After you take the picture, I will snatch it away. As long as we can snatch this sacred tree, even if it is exposed, the leader will not say anything. 400 million gold coins. The sacred tree was finally bought by Bright Clarence at a price of 400 million gold coins. Chief, the sacred tree was bought by someone from the church, and that person is a cardinal. If we touch him, I'm afraid No matter who the other party is, we must get the sacred tree, and once the sacred tree is taken back to the church, it will be almost impossible to get it back. I will report this matter to the Lord Leader now. You go and gather the brothers of the bone cult. Schmidt, take a few people to find a way to destroy the teleportation array. Odysseus auction house has held thousands of auctions, but it has never been as popular as this one. The transaction volume in one day reached 10 billion. Even the person in charge of the auction house couldn't believe it. Many forces got the auction items they were satisfied with, and they all celebrated secretly. No one noticed that in this peaceful celebration, the mysterious bone cult was preparing to stir up the situation. In a secret room, the people who were discussing how to seize the sacred tree were sitting in front of a strange magic array. Leader, I wonder if the Lord will agree to our request. Don't worry, the Lord will definitely agree to this matter, because this matter is related to whether my God can come back to this world again. When talking about my God, the eyes of the leaders of several people showed a fanatical light. Not long after, the strange magic circle started to work, and a black reagent bottle was transmitted over, along with a pitch black scroll. When these people saw the black reagent bottle and the pitch black scroll, they all showed joy on their faces. The leader opened the scroll and saw that it said, "My bone cult has been lurking for too long, and almost everyone has forgotten our majesty. It's time to let this continent know our existence. Since we are going to do it, we should do it big and let the whole continent tremble. Is this the dirty god potion?" One of them pointed at the black potion bottle and said, "Yes, this is the god filth potion. As long as there is a bottle of this, it can drive the monsters within a radius of dozens of miles completely crazy." The leader opened the bottle cap while speaking and poured the dark potion into a vessel in front of him. The black mist slowly spread out in all directions. "Leader, the Empire's teleportation array has been destroyed by us. It is absolutely impossible for them to teleport away." "Very good. In this case, you should prepare well and enjoy this gluttonous feast." On the other side, people from various forces stood in front of the destroyed teleportation array with gloomy faces. Have you found out who did it? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Orange Alert. The whole city prepares for war. Report, everyone, because all the guards have been killed. It is impossible to confirm who did it. I didn't expect someone to be so rampant. This is not giving us face. Several bigwigs felt that they were provoked and couldn't help but get angry. Do you think this matter is just not giving us face? I'm afraid someone is deliberately targeting us. What do you mean? We are the representatives of the major forces on the continent. Who dares to be so blind? Just as these bigwigs were discussing the problem, a red light suddenly lit up in the sky not far away. Orange alert. The Empire divides the alert into several levels. The first level is blue, representing an invasion that can be solved by a magic army. The second level is yellow, representing an invasion that can be solved by half of the city's soldiers. The third level is orange alert, representing an invasion that requires the soldiers of the entire city to solve. And the fourth level is the highest level of red alert, which represents a reminder of the death of the city. 30 years ago, there was an orange alert in Caesar City. At that time, a magic beast broke through the 9th level and launched an unprecedented beast tide. At least 3 8th level warriors died in that battle. Today, this orange light suddenly appeared, which was the orange alert. Once the alert light appeared, it meant that the city would face unprecedented hidden dangers and crises. The orange crisis was solved by the human saints at that time, but the appearance of this orange alert light today meant a crisis that was not much different from that time. Oh my god. The orange alert light had not appeared for 30 years, but it appeared today. Just when everyone thought this was a joke, an Imperial soldier hurried over. There are monster riots in the area of dozens of miles around Caesar City, and many monsters have advanced, but the advanced monsters seem to have lost their minds. This situation is somewhat similar to the situation in the ruins. Oliver's blood-stained potion? Does Oliver want to be an enemy of all of us? This is not the blood-stained potion. Although their effects are similar, The situation this time is more difficult to control. This is more like the Bone Cult's God-stained potion. What? Bone Cult? God-stained potion? Wasn't the Bone Cult wiped out by major forces on the continent 50 years ago? Report. We were attacked by a group of monsters. The barrier was destroyed. A large number of monsters drove straight in. Not long after, another Imperial soldier reported. The leader of the Imperial army felt cold all over and trembled involuntarily. I hope Kaiser City can survive this disaster. If this matter really involves the Bone Cult, we can't just stand by and watch. The leaders of several major forces looked at each other and said in a deep voice. The faces of the cadres of the Imperial army twitched a little as they watched these high-ranking figures, their eyes hiding anger and helplessness. These big men did not care about their lives at all. The whole city is ready for war. Organize all the adventurers. The Imperial cadres took a deep breath, and there was no more sadness in their eyes, but they were filled with the fortitude of the soldiers. Yes. The soldiers around the cadres hurriedly responded and turned away. Orange alert. The whole city is ready for war, and the adventurers are stunned. For them, the second level yellow alert is already a big turmoil. So many people may be buried in the orange alert. Many people have regretted coming to Caesar City for treasure hunting and adventure. The orange alert is second only to the red alert. Some people may never see the orange alert in their lives, and those who have experienced an orange alert will never be able to walk out of this shadow in their lives. In the orange alert, living seems to be a luxury. At this moment, waves of heart-pounding roars in the Moses forest merged into one, shaking the earth and making people feel cold. What on earth happened in the damn Kaiser City? These ordinary adventurers naturally couldn't know the secrets of the Bone Cult. The powerful aftermath reached Kaiser City, and the entire city fell into panic. Roar. There was a murderous atmosphere in the Moses forest. The sky was grey at the moment, and then heavy rain poured down, pouring on everyone's cheeks. In the rain curtain, a blurry figure jumped up and appeared at the top of a towering ancient tree in the distance. Under the heavy rain, countless monsters' eyes burst into an extremely ferocious red light, looking at the weak lamb. The beast tide is coming. There are so many evolved monsters. The young adventurer on the side said in a trembling voice. As soon as the voice fell, one after another black shadows flashed. These shadows were either on those towering trees or standing on the ground. The number of crazy monsters increased, and their pairs of red and ferocious eyes were like sharp blades that made people feel cold in their hearts and numbed their scalps. There are too many monsters. Groups of crazy monsters appeared in the forest. They looked up and roared at the city wall. The whole world seemed to be occupied by their roars. They are completely crazy. An adventurer who has studied monsters said with a dull face. Oh my god, there are already tens of thousands of monsters gathered in the forest. There are more monsters rushing here. How many monsters will be attracted? At this moment, the adventurers in Kaiser City finally understood why the orange warning was issued. An unprecedented beast tide. Groups of crazy monsters attacked the city. This is simply an unprecedented disaster. A heavy rain, accompanied by tens of thousands of monsters that are still rushing here frantically. The human race has been fighting with monsters for many years since ancient times. Under the temptation of the god poisoning potion, the monster population seems to be unable to suppress the desire in their hearts. They have completely lost their minds and only have the instinct of thirsting for blood. The number of crazy monsters is increasing. They are running wildly and roaring. The dirty god potion was once called the most evil potion on the continent, and there is a reason for that. The shadow of death hangs over everyone. Those bloodthirsty eyes reveal hatred and cruelty towards living beings. They want to tear them apart. In such a horrifying scene, even the 7th and 8th level strongmen seem so small. For all adventurers, the scene of hordes of crazy monsters rushing towards them is unforgettable for the adventurers who survived by chance. What should we do now? Avril was also scared at this moment. When had she seen such a horrible situation? This moment made her understand that the identity of a princess is not omnipotent. Princess Avril, don't you still have a space transmission scroll in your hand? If it really doesn't work, you can just take everyone to escape. Yunfan reminded. Chapter 184 Storm Wolf. Boy Yunfan, this beast tide is not simple. I have already sensed the scent of the divine potion in the air. I'm afraid that the Immortal Legion has done something here. Immortal Legion. Suddenly, a violent tremor came from all directions. Here they come. A group of violent monsters have already killed everyone. Warriors protect. Mages output. Yunfan took a deep breath and said loudly. The beast tide swept across the fields like locusts. Many adventurers lay there in a mess before they could react. Their bodies were torn into several pieces, and blood clots and internal organs were mixed in the pool of blood, which made Yunfan and others feel chilled. Your Highness, why are you still here? Come with me. At this time, several Imperial Army generals came to Avril with ugly faces. Death came, corpses, and the entire city road was full of corpses. It was miserable. First team, do your best to protect Her Highness and leave, the leading Imperial general shouted. As soon as the voice fell, Yunfan saw the other side. The general was thrown to the ground by a wolf-shaped monster and was seriously injured. Fortunately, the officer was protected by a magic armor, otherwise he would be torn into pieces with such attack power. Yunfan was terrified. A 4th level warrior was actually powerless to fight back. Yunfan couldn't help but step back and stand aside, and then he could see the appearance of the monster clearly. The wolf-shaped monster was surprisingly large. Yunfan stood there and reached the calf of the monster. This wolf-shaped monster has mutated. All the hair is reddish brown, standing upright like pine needles. The neck and head have been connected into one piece and can't be distinguished from each other. It is extremely ferocious and terrifying. Yunfan has been in this world for more than a year, but he has never seen this form of monster. There is nothing else in his eyes except bloodthirstiness, and the breath emanating from his body is chilling. This is the wind wolf. I don't know who exclaimed. This is no longer a hurricane wolf, but a storm wolf. Roar, roar. The storm wolf seemed to have smelled the blood from the adventurers, and its huge lantern eyes immediately locked onto the location of Yunfan and the others. The storm wolf suddenly pounced, with its sharp claws raised high, and easily penetrated into the body of an Imperial soldier. Because there was no protection from magic armor, this guy was not as lucky as the Imperial officer, and his body was cruelly torn apart in an instant. The Imperial soldiers saw their companions being torn apart, and their eyes were red. They wanted to bite the storm wolf to death directly, but they knew very well that they could not kill the wolf with their strength. Damn it. Protection, don't you want to live? The Imperial officer in the ruins not far away shouted at the Imperial soldiers. The Imperial soldiers were different from ordinary adventurers. After long-term training and long-term team battles, they knew how to unite and cooperate. The soldiers of the Imperial army, holding weapons in their hands, stood back to back in an arc-fan-shaped formation, ready to face the storm wolf. The soldiers of the Imperial army quickly gathered together, protecting Avril and others in the center. Through a gap, Avril and others saw the claws of the storm wolf swinging towards them, which made Avril couldn't help but step back a few steps reflexively. The speed of the storm wolf was too fast. At the beginning, the storm wolf was more than 50 meters away from them, but it rushed over in the blink of an eye. Bang! The storm wolf crashed into the Imperial army soldiers. These well-trained Imperial army soldiers, with their superb qualities, worked together to slash the storm wolf back directly. However, even the soldiers of the Imperial army who resisted a blow turned pale. Dark movement. Sword of death. Flash. Yunfan seized the opportunity and directly released the strongest second stage magic in the dark movement. A black sword, even bigger than the sword of darkness, flew out of Yunfan's hand. After a flash, the huge black sword directly penetrated the forehead of the storm wolf. Then, the huge body of the storm wolf fell directly to the ground, deader than dead. Avril and the soldiers of the Empire couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It was too terrible. If Yunfan's magic was released for a while longer, I'm afraid some soldiers would really die under the claws of the storm wolf. The strength of the storm wolf was too terrible. It was several times more terrible than the wind wolf. It was not something that ordinary Imperial soldiers like them could resist. If you don't want to die, retreat quickly. Now is not the time to be distracted. The Imperial army officer who was pounced into the ruins by the storm wolf stood up from the ruins tremblingly and said to everyone, the entire Caesar city has been completely in crisis. Whether it is the ground, underground or the sky, it is full of various monsters. They act on instinct, as if they had planned it. It's too late to say anything now. Even if the people from the major forces don't want to take action and cause unnecessary trouble, these monsters have completely lost their self-awareness and will not distinguish who attacked them and who didn't. How to go? There are crazy monsters everywhere now. Yunfan looked at the Imperial Army officer helplessly. Just follow me. The Imperial Army officer didn't say much to Yunfan and went to the north of the city while killing the crazy monsters. After walking for about 20 minutes, the Imperial Army officer led Avril and others to a courtyard that was already empty. The Imperial Army officer walked in quickly with everyone, suddenly stopped in a corner, and lifted up a mural. The wall behind the mural can be opened. After the Imperial officer opened it, there was a square button inside. The Imperial officer pressed the square button lightly with his hand, and with a squeak sound, the stone wall next to it suddenly opened, and a dark passage appeared. I don't know where this passage leads to. I really didn't expect there would be such a passage here. Yunfan blinked slightly. It's important to leave here quickly. Without saying anything, the Imperial officer led Avril into the dark passage. After walking a few steps inside, the Imperial officer suddenly remembered something and stared at Avril with his sharp eyes. Your Highness, this is a safe escape passage built by our empire in the early years. Going from here should allow you to escape danger. I will not continue to escort you. Chapter 185 Void Monster Bloodline. What do you mean? As a soldier of the Empire, it is my duty to protect this city, so I choose to go back. Captain, you follow my orders and escort Her Royal Highness to a safe place. Tell me first, what happened? Avril took a breath and said seriously. Judging from the appearance of the Imperial officer, this officer should know something. I'm sorry, Your Highness, I have nothing to say about this matter. Remember to leave here quickly, and don't stay any longer. If you don't tell me, I won't leave. Okay, since you want to know, I'll tell you. The adults said that this matter is related to the bone cult. The Imperial officer also heard a little about the character of this arrogant prince in front of him, and knew that, if he didn't tell her the reason, this little ancestor might really not leave. Bone cult. A huge rock suddenly hit Avril's heart, rolling up a huge wave. She had heard about the cruelty of the bone cult from her teacher countless times. It was an organization more terrifying than the Church of the Scourge, and even many empires were destroyed by it. There are not many ordinary people in Kansas City. Most of them are adventurers with certain strength. However, many of these adventurers cannot resist the fighting of crazy monsters. These crazy monsters have already rushed into the city in large numbers, and will slaughter wantonly. There are not only a few monsters roaming around, but hundreds of crazy monsters. Many high-level professionals with strong strength and carelessness have also accidentally capsized in the gutter, not to mention those low-level professionals. The city is now a river of blood and corpses are everywhere. The whole city is like a purgatory on earth. The bone cult is indeed the most evil and terrifying force on the continent. At this moment, Avril was actually very unwilling in her heart, but she knew that staying with her own strength would not bring any help to the situation, and might even distract the Imperial army from taking care of herself. Avril bit her lip hard and entered the passage without looking back. Yunfan and others also took a deep breath and followed Avril into the passage. After passing through the secret passage, Yunfan and others, who were still somewhat helpless, appeared on the outskirts of Ziboa Valley in the west of Caesar City. The dark sky made the whole Caesar City shrouded in an atmosphere of death. The chilling roars coming from not far away made people shudder. Avril, Yunfan and others looked at Caesar City. At this moment, the whole Caesar City was in chaos. Oh my god, that was where they had stayed. Blood flowed into the moat like a stream. The entire moat had been dyed red. It was the blood of living people. Standing on the outskirts of Ziboa Valley, Yunfan and others had gloomy faces. Avril, who had always been heartless, burst into tears. A nightmare is coming. Your Highness, we must leave here quickly. There are more and more crazy monsters gathering here. The Imperial soldiers guarding Avril interrupted everyone's thoughts. Just as he said, many crazy monsters have appeared in their location. The level of these crazy monsters is relatively low, and these Imperial soldiers can barely deal with them. Roar. Before the guard finished speaking, a roar suddenly sounded, shaking people's bodies. Several people turned back suddenly and looked in the direction of the sound. However, what shocked them was that a huge black shadow stood upright 100 meters away from them. The black shadow had already discovered Avril and the others and looked at them with a bloodthirsty face. The black shadow was very big, like a giant covering the sky. Its huge body covered the sky tightly. It raised its head high, and the roar that was enough to shake the world came out of its bloody mouth. Two eyes were like lanterns, staring at Yunfan and others. This scene made Yunfan and others gasp, and they couldn't come back to their senses for a long time. What on earth is this thing? The huge monster in front of them was so amazing that Yunfan and the others felt that they were so insignificant compared to this behemoth. Oh my god, are you kidding us? This thing is at least level 7 or 8. With our small fry, it is impossible to defeat it, Kim said with a pale face. No wonder I felt weird just now. It turns out that this place is so quiet. Yunfan murmured. The crazy monsters they encountered before were nothing compared to this monster in front of them. This guy actually has the blood of the void monster, Sakadin said in surprise. Void monster? What is that? It is an extremely ancient monster. It is said that they appeared before the main god, but I think this statement is false. In this world, apart from the god of creation, the earliest creature should be the main god created by the god of creation. How could there be other creatures that appeared earlier than the main god? Sakadin said. Yunfan's eyes suddenly showed a strange color. After an in-depth conversation with the tower spirit, Yunfan already knew that this world was not as simple as imagined. This world had been destroyed more than once, and the god of creation was just the ancestor god who opened this era. But Yunfan would not say these. Sakadin, now is not the time to discuss these things. Do you know what this guy's weaknesses are? Yunfan asked in a deep voice. This thing is an ancient magic beast. I know very little about it. What's more, it is not certain whether this guy in front of me is a void magic beast. By the way, the visual sense of void magic beasts should be very weak, but I don't know if this guy is. This magic beast in front of me, of unknown species, should have reached the 8th level. Among all of us present, no one should be able to survive its attack. An imperial soldier who knew something about magic beasts said tremblingly. 8th level, brother, are you really not kidding? Tell the truth. Everyone couldn't help but gasp. For these soldiers of the Imperial Army, they have experienced countless battles, and have much more experience than ordinary adventurers. Naturally, they know the significance of the 8th level monsters. The general commander of the Kaiser City Imperial Army is only at this level. For soldiers of the Imperial Army like them, they can kill as many as they can. Oh my god, what should we do now? The shadow of death once again loomed over them. Chapter 186 Leading the monster away. Your Highness, as a member of the Imperial Army, it is a duty to obey orders, and our mission is to ensure your safety, so we will stay behind and try to buy you time to escape. The guy in the Imperial Army, who could see the level of the monster, said in a deep voice. Avril's face was also terribly gloomy. Deep in her heart, she wanted to say, I will advance and retreat with you, but when the word came to her lips, she couldn't say anything. At this moment, the monster moved, and every step it took seemed to shake the earth. Glory to the Empire. One of the Imperial soldiers shouted, and ran towards the monster, and then the rest of the Imperial soldiers did the same. Wind twist, entanglement. What everyone didn't expect was that the Imperial soldier who could see the level of the monster was actually a 4th level mage. This wind magic did play a certain role. The speed of the unknown monster was much slower, but the difference in strength between the two was too great. In just a moment, the monster broke free from the entanglement. Wind twist, bind. The first soldier of the Imperial Army had already arrived in front of the monster and stabbed out with a gun. The steel gun stabbed into the monster's body, making a series of crisp sounds. The monster didn't seem to expect that someone would resist. In his eyes, the small group of people in front of him were just a group of lambs to be slaughtered. And these lambs to be slaughtered dared to resist. This behavior was undoubtedly a provocation to him. Roar. The giant monster stomped down with its front hooves and kicked the Imperial soldier. The Imperial soldier flew up and finally fell to the ground with a bang. He couldn't bear such a fierce attack and collapsed to the ground. The other Imperial soldiers were also just approaching, and they were instantly knocked away like sheep in the mouth of a tiger. Damn it, this is not a solution at all. It's wishful thinking to want to cover the retreat of Her Royal Highness the Princess. An Imperial soldier said with an ugly face. Military advisor, don't you have any good ideas? What's the use of conspiracy in the face of absolute strength? The Imperial soldier who estimated the level of the magic beast first showed a bitter smile at the corner of his mouth, and finally his eyes were full of determination. No matter what, we must cover Her Royal Highness the Princess to leave. This is a duty. At the same time, Amy's water magic, Avril's dark magic, and Amelia's light magic were released almost at the same time. But their levels were too low, and they could not cause any damage to the magic beast. Don't waste magic power, unless magic above the 4th level can cause it a little trouble. Yunfan said in a deep voice. The magic beast roared, and the wind whistled around. Then the magic beast pounced directly. The Imperial soldier closest to the magic beast was about to dodge, but there were several towering trees next to him. He couldn't dodge, and was bombarded directly on him. With a bang, the protective light on the soldier's body flashed a few times, and then shattered immediately. Even the magic armor was dim and shattered. Although it offset most of the external force, the monster's attack was extraordinary, and the remaining force still fell on the chest of the soldier. The huge impact force made the soldier's body tremble, and his body was knocked out. He didn't know whether he was dead or alive. In a short period of time, these soldiers of the Imperial Army had lost more than half of their personnel. If this situation continued, I'm afraid that in a few minutes, the whole army would be wiped out. Sakan, is there really no other way? The gap between you and this monster is really too big. Sakan sighed. However, perhaps you can try to use the dark movement to block this guy's sight. But I think it's more likely that you will survive if you escape by yourself at this time. Sakan, do you mean for me to abandon these people? I don't think I'm a good person, but I can't abandon my friends. Dark movement descend. A black mist instantly spread from Yunfan's side. Yunfan ran out of the protective circle formed by the Imperial soldiers in one step. Protect my friends, and leave this guy to me. Yunfan's voice sounded in the black fog. Brother, what are you going to do? Don't worry about what I want to do. I'll lead this big guy away in a while, and you should leave here quickly and don't stay. But, don't worry, this guy can't hurt me. Sword of Darkness. Flash. A black magic sword suddenly appeared on the left eye of the huge monster. A stream of red blood spurted out. No matter what kind of creature it is, the eyes are almost the most vulnerable part of the body. Yunfan used all his fighting spirit to run, and injected all of it into his legs. With a swoosh, he ran away. While running, he took out some low-level magic scrolls from the space ring, and threw them at the monster. Roar. A brutal aura burst out from the huge monster, and the surrounding grass and trees turned into dust in an instant. Come and chase me, ugly guy. Yunfan shouted loudly while running wildly. This monster with the blood of the void beast never thought that someone could hurt him, and he didn't expect that not only did he get hurt, but he also provoked him again and again. The huge monster gave up attacking the Imperial soldiers and Avril and others, and chased in the direction where Yunfan left. Military advisor, what should we do now? What else can we do? Listen to that young man, and take the princess away quickly. The Imperial soldier known as the military advisor looked at the direction where Yunfan left with a complicated expression. But, even if we want to help now, we can't do anything. We may not necessarily become a burden to that young man. It's all my fault. If I hadn't been willful and wanted to come to Caesar City, so many things wouldn't have happened. Avril said with red eyes. Princess, this matter is not your fault. No one would have thought that the guys of the Bone Cult would be so crazy and want to destroy the entire city. Elvis sighed. Bone Cult, I swear, if Dante dies this time, I will never let you go. Avril looked indifferent. Let's go. Let's leave here quickly now. Don't let Dante's hard work go to waste. After saying that, Avril turned around and led the way away. Chapter 187. Diverting Trouble. Bone Cult, if anything really happens to my brother, just wait. My Berserker clan will not let you go. Kim also said with a firm expression. Fortunately, this guy is just like what you said. Strength is his weakness. Otherwise, I really lost my life here this time. Ji Yunfan said to Sakadin in his heart while running in the mountains and forests. Don't say so much useless things. Let's find a way to get rid of that lake completely first. This guy's different from other magic beasts. Other magic beasts have lost their minds. Although this guy has become abnormally bloodthirsty, I can feel that it still has its own thoughts. Ji Yunfan said lightly. Wait a minute. Sakadin's voice suddenly sounded in Ji Yunfan's mind. What's wrong? Ji Yunfan couldn't help but slow down his pace. There seem to be people in the woods ahead. There are people in the woods ahead? Did they escape from Caesar City? No, these people should not have escaped from Caesar City. There are many mad monsters around them, but those monsters turned a blind eye to them and did not attack them. If I'm not mistaken, they should be the so-called bone cult members on the continent. And this bone cult should be inextricably linked with the Immortal Legion, so you must be careful. Do you mean to say that they created the chaos this time? A cold light flashed in Ji Yunfan's eyes. It is indeed the most evil force on the continent, and their form and style are so cruel. What do you want to do, kid? You don't want to kill these guys, do you? Yes, I have this plan. I want to let them know that sooner or later they will pay for what they have done. What are you going to do? Sakadin had no intention of stopping Ji Yunfan, because he knew that, even if he stopped him, he would not change his sincerity. Don't worry, I won't fight against the enemy with my own strength. My life is precious. Ji Yunfan smiled faintly. That guy has some problems with his vision. If I don't take advantage of it, how can I be worthy of me? Are you going to use the magic beast with the blood of the void beast? But in this way, you may be attacked from both sides. You underestimate me too much, being attacked from both sides. Although I haven't practiced space magic during this period, I can still do short distance space teleportation. To be honest, I find that it is not a good choice to be your enemy. You have a lot of trump cards in your hand. Sakadin couldn't help but sigh. In this case, I'll wait here for a while. Ji Yunfan stopped while speaking and hid behind a towering tree. Then Ji Yunfan had an idea and the shadow demon was released. Brothers, why do I suddenly feel like I'm being spied on? A member of the bone cult suddenly frowned and said to the other members around him, this should be your first time to participate in this kind of operation. Hey, brother, how did you know? People who participate in this kind of operation for the first time are always suspicious. Don't you think about where we are now? How could someone come to spy on us? That's true. To be honest, I didn't expect that the first time I participated in an operation would have such a scene. Even us old men didn't expect that this time it would be so big. The whole continent would know how terrifying our bone cult is. What do you think is the reason why the Lord Leader made such a big deal this time? What the Lord Leader wants to do is not something we little people can guess. We just need to do our job well. Do you hear any sound over there? What other sound can there be? It's just a mad monster. We have already applied dispersal potions on our bodies. They won't attack us. Sakadin, what is the dispersal potion they are talking about? Ji Yunfan asked. This potion is similar to the antidote for the defiled god potion. If the defiled god potion can make them crazy, then the dispel potion can dispel this state. This crazy state is like the release of nature for the monsters, and they are willing to indulge in this state. So out of instinct, these crazy monsters will hide far away when they encounter those who sprinkle the dispel potion on their bodies. I didn't expect it to be like this, Sakadin. I wonder if you have the formula for the dispel potion. I do have the formula for the dispel potion, but the materials for this thing are difficult to find, and it may be difficult to gather the materials. That guy is coming, Ji Yunfan said nervously. Then a rumbling sound came over, as if thousands of troops were advancing in unison, and the crazy monsters around the bone cult members actually showed expressions of fear one by one. Is there any powerful monster coming towards us? But we are not afraid of any powerful monster. Hi, hello, brothers, I didn't expect to meet you here. Seeing that the monster with the void bloodline was not far away from him, Ji Yunfan jumped out from behind the ancient tree in an instant and greeted the members of the bone cult. How could there be someone here? Could it be that they escaped from Caesar City? So I was right to feel that someone was watching just now. While the members of the bone cult were in a daze, Ji Yunfan had already circled behind them. Kill him. Seeing that Ji Yunfan seemed to be going away from them, the members of the bone cult reacted. If you want to kill me, you may not have the ability to do so. Ji Yunfan smiled coldly at the members of the bone cult, and then the fighting spirit in his body quickly circulated, instantly pulling away from these people. What exactly does this hateful boy want to do? Just to mock us? Ji Yunfan's behavior made them confused, but these members of the bone cult had a vague feeling of uneasiness. You are too young to chase me. Ji Yunfan smiled coldly and repeated his old tricks. He took out a dozen low-level magic scrolls from his space ring and threw them at the members of the bone cult. Damn bastard, what does this kid want to do? Although these dozen low-level magics did not cause any harm to them, they still slowed them down. They were even more confused about Ji Yunfan's behavior. This kid dared to tease us, I must kill him. At the same time, the magic beast with the blood of the void beast had also rushed over. The members of the bone cult originally thought that the magic beast would not hurt them, but the result frightened them. Chapter 188 Advanced to level 5. The unprepared members of the bone cult were slaughtered by the monster, and soon 7 or 8 of them died without a complete body. What the hell is going on? Has the dispelling potion on us become ineffective? The remaining members of the bone cult felt helpless and confused. No, the dispelling potion on us is not ineffective. Other crazy monsters did not attack us, but this guy is an exception. These members of the bone cult did not leave much damage on the monster, but were beaten to pieces by the monster and suffered heavy casualties. Ji Yunfan did not dare to stay any longer and ran away again with a gust of wind under his feet. This time, because of the obstruction of the bone cult, Ji Yunfan completely escaped from the entanglement of the monster. Ji Yunfan found a safer cave and stopped to rest. In order to avoid the pursuit of the monster, Ji Yunfan almost exhausted all the fighting spirit in his body. In the cave, Ji Yunfan sat cross-legged on a huge rock, with his hands intertwined, posing a strange posture in front of him, his eyes closed, and his breathing steady and powerful. As Ji Yunfan breathed, the air around him swayed slightly, and even reflected a little bit of strange light, which was very strange. Ji Yunfan's chest swayed slightly, and there was a sense of rhythm in his breathing. As the sitting time was delayed, a faint colorful airflow was emitted from Ji Yunfan's body. The airflow slowly climbed, and finally followed Ji Yunfan's breathing, and entered his body. The air flowed into his body, and Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness trembled. Then, it seemed that all of a sudden, Ji Yunfan's whole body exuded a luster like Buddha's light. Feeling the fighting spirit in his body slowly recover, Ji Yunfan's mouth corners inadvertently revealed a smile. When Ji Yunfan's body was fully recovered, he did not stop there. His eyes were still closed, and the hand seals on his fingertips changed. He was deep in his mind, and condensed his energy, because he had a vague feeling that a breakthrough was just around the corner. His current state of cultivation was very good, almost reaching the best state of cultivation. He greedily absorbed the energy in the air. The colorful energy stained the boy's skin and gradually flowed into Ji Yunfan's body through the pores of his skin, transforming into Dao-Ki, warming his bones, and washing his veins. The conversion efficiency of Ji Yunfan's Dao-Ki formula was very amazing, far beyond the reach of other techniques on the continent. Under Ji Yunfan's endless and crazy demands, more and more energy was absorbed into his body. Ji Yunfan closed his eyes and absorbed the last wisp of air into his body. His eyelashes blinked slightly, and after a moment, his dark eyes opened in vain. A colorful light flashed through his eyes. Slowly exhaling the turbid air in his chest, Ji Yunfan blinked his eyes in high spirits, then stood up suddenly, stretched lazily, and felt the Dao-Ki in his body at that time, muttering to himself, I didn't expect that I would break through so quickly this time. It can be regarded as a pleasant surprise. Even Ji Yunfan didn't expect that he would advance again. 5th level. Ji Yunfan's fighting spirit level has entered the 5th level, and from then on, Ji Yunfan, can be regarded as a little master. 6 huge blood-colored monsters pulled a black bronze coffin and slowly walked on the streets of Kaiser City. Behind the bronze coffin, followed more than a dozen black-robed people with withered bones painted on them. The powerful aura of the 6 blood-colored monsters and the black-robed people could be felt from a long distance. And those crazy monsters intentionally or unintentionally made way for the bronze coffin. The whole Kaiser city gradually became quiet. No one spoke anymore. Everyone was full of fear, looking at the strange bronze coffin in front of them. Everyone shouted loudly, and everyone was very nervous. What kind of person is in the strange bronze coffin? The evil coffin is out. The Archbishop of the Bone Religion, the 8th level peak power Winifred Bryson. I don't know who shouted in fear. How could he come here? The leaders of the major forces could not help but change their faces. The more they knew, the more they understood the power of the person in the bronze coffin. Everyone. I didn't expect that we would meet under such circumstances. An ancient and vicissitudes of life voice floated out of the bronze coffin. Don't talk so much nonsense, Winifred Bryson. What exactly do you want to do here this time? Cardinal Right Clarence of the Holy See said with a gloomy face. I just want to get something from you. The voice was still vicissitudes of life, but without a trace of emotion. What is it? Is it a potion formula? It's the piece of sacred wood you got at the auction. For a piece of wood that you don't know what it is, you are going to massacre the entire city? Many low-level adventurers shouted in disbelief. What's a city? Even the Zul Empire was destroyed under the guidance of our church. Most low-level professionals are not familiar with the long history. The words of the Bone Cult members are too incredible, which seriously impacts the ideological cognition of the people present. How many unknown secrets are hidden in the annihilated Zul Empire and the Bone Cult? Hand over the sacred tree now, and we can retreat. Many adventurers have this idea of handing over the sacred tree in exchange for peace. If I really hand over the sacred tree to you, will you really retreat? When did the Bone Cult become so easy to talk to? As the current owner of the sacred tree, Cardinal Right Clarence of the Holy See will naturally not give up easily. Although he has not figured out what kind of treasure this piece of wood is, he knows that the thing that can make the Bone Cult so desperately want to get is definitely not the material for forging ordinary holy weapons. It seems that the Cardinal is ready to sacrifice the people of this city to save the sacred tree. The members of the Bone Cult looked calm. Little demon of the Bone Cult, stop saying these provocative words. It's meaningless. In that case, the only way for us is to fight. Everyone can kill the people of the Bone Cult. This is the consensus of the continent. What consensus of the continent? It's just that they are afraid that my Bone Cult will develop and there will be no living space for you. In that case, let's see the truth in person. Kenan Habakak, the vice president of the Alchemy Association, said coldly, no matter when, people with magician blood are born nobles. However, there has never been a lack of rebels among humans. There are always people who try to break through the shackles, break the rules, and break through the shackles. In the Dark Ages, about 100,000 years ago, a man named Harrington Reginald, without the ability to communicate the power of element, still persisted in pursuing the mystery of the element. Through his efforts and research, he found that some special metals and ores can resonate with magic element and borrow their power under certain circumstances. Magic is not the only way to use magic. Chapter 189 Reasons. This discovery caused a sensation at the time. Many ordinary people who longed for power joined the research and created magic machines that could kill gods, the titans. For a time, the world was shocked, and many magicians also joined the research. The special profession of magic mechanics appeared, and it was not long before magic machinery became a category in alchemy. Unlike magicians, magic machinery does not use magic with its own power. They use their rich knowledge to collect various rare materials and make various magic machines to achieve their goals. In the era when magic machinery was the craziest, a large number of monsters were killed. Except for a few extremely dangerous areas where top monsters survived, people almost never let go of any place that human footprints could reach and destroy. It was precisely because of human madness that the revenge of the beast god was attracted, causing the magic mechanics to suffer heavy losses and few left. Since then, the relationship between humans and monsters has been like fire and water. Although a large number of magic machines have been lost today, there are still many people who study and buy magic machines for self-defense, but high-level magic machines are rarely sold. Alchemy can be said to be the direction of alternative technology development in the magic world. The vice president of the Alchemy Association, Kenan Habakak, is good at magic machinery. Kenan Habakak suddenly took out 2 black magic machines from his space ring. The 2 magic machines were all black, and each was 3 or 4 meters tall. One of them held a giant sword, and the other held a black magic wand. 7th level magic machines, and 2 of them at once. No wonder they are so confident. But you probably don't understand the huge gap between the 8th and 7th levels. The struggle between the major forces of the Bone Cult kicked off, and the war was intense for a while, with mutual damage. At this moment, Yunfan was wandering in the Moses Forest, occasionally dealing with some lone Bone Cult members. After killing the first Bone Cult member and getting the dispelling potion from him, Yunfan was not as cautious as he was at the beginning when he wandered. Fifan, you don't want to go back to Caesar City, do you? Seeing the direction in which Yunfan was hunting the Bone Cult members while moving forward, Sakadan said in disbelief. I do have this plan. Don't you wonder what the Bone Cult wants to do with all the effort? Yunfan asked. Fifan, haven't you heard the saying that curiosity kills the cat? But I've also heard the saying that wealth and honor are sought in danger. Yunfan took a deep breath. Don't worry, although my strength has just reached the 5th level, I can still escape, even if I face a 7th level master, and I have a feeling in my heart that, if I don't go this time, I will definitely regret it. Forget it, your legs are on your body, and it's useless for me to say anything. By the way, after such a long period of recovery, my mental strength has also recovered a little, and I can send out an 8th level peak attack. But remember, there is only one attack, and after one attack, I will fall into a deep sleep, so I won't help you, unless it is absolutely necessary. An 8th level peak attack is completely enough. Yunfan muttered in a low voice, and ran towards the direction of Caesar City. Evacuate. You must evacuate quickly. If you continue like this, you will just die. Many low-level professionals are now scared, and have no courage to fight. Boss, a large group of monsters just jumped out, and the seashell was cut into pieces. A low-level mage said with a pale face. The faces of several people present changed. In fact, even high-level professionals have never encountered such a situation, let alone these low-level professionals. The protective magic array of the entire city has been destroyed. The only way to survive is to escape. It is said that the orange warning that appeared 30 years ago killed more than half of the entire city. If we stay, we can only be cannon fodder. In this case, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Many low-level professionals have already started to flee at this moment, but how many can escape with their strength alone? On the way of the large army's escape, an assassin ran back with a dusty face. There are about 30 more violent 3rd level monsters ahead. Retreat. Retreat quickly, and get away from here before these monsters arrive. The first guy who proposed evacuation said in shock. The assassin looked bitter. Is it so easy to evacuate? Soon, their team was surrounded by more than 30 violent 3rd level monsters. Because they had taken on adventure missions more than once, the team was quite tacit in cooperation. However, no matter how well they cooperated, the gap in level could not be made up. The strength of the monsters in violent mode was almost improved by a level. The team retreated continuously. Just when they thought their lives were coming to an end, a voice suddenly came from a distance. Eternal night starfall. Then more than 30 light bolts composed of dark element fell from the air like meteors. This is the 4th level high level magic eternal night. We are saved. Although Yunfan's high level magic did not directly kill these violent monsters, it also caused them great damage. This team took this opportunity to switch from passive defense to direct offense. These more than 30 violent 3rd level monsters were finally eliminated by them with the help of Yunfan. Thank you for the help of this magician. Otherwise, I'm afraid our mercenary team would be wiped out. The leading adventurer of the team bowed to Yun. It seems that you should have escaped from Caesar City. What's the situation in the city now? Yunfan asked. The city is in chaos now. Now the Bone Cult has confronted the masters of various forces. I'm afraid it will take a while to tell who will win. The people of the Bone Cult are so powerful. I remember that many 7th and 8th level big men are in the city. Yunfan said. The Archbishop of the Bone Cult, the 8th level peak powerhouse Winifred Bryson is here. 8th level peak powerhouse. This is the highest level of combat power in the continent, but I don't know what he wants to do. It is said that he came for a piece of sacred wood. A piece of sacred wood? The sacred wood you are talking about is not the one that was taken away by the cardinal at that time. Yunfan asked with an idea. It is indeed for that sacred tree. I don't know what it is, but it made the people of the bone cult go to such great lengths. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190 Angel Summons. Since you want to leave, I'll just help you. Yunfan said as he took out a bottle of dispelling potion from his space ring and handed it to the leader. Then he said to the small group of people, "This is the dispelling potion I got from the people of the bone cult. Apply it on your body, and ordinary violent monsters will no longer hurt you." "Thank you, Master Magician. I don't know what your name is. If we have a chance, we will definitely repay you," the leading mercenary said solemnly. "That's not necessary. Saving you is just a matter of convenience. I hope you can leave here safely," Yunfan said indifferently. After that, Yunfan walked towards the city of Caesar. I really can't figure out what Master Magician wants to do. These low-level professionals looked at Yunfan's figure and said bitterly to themselves. Almost all the low-level professionals tried to escape outside the city. They were not like Yunfan, who knew that there were many dangers there, but insisted on entering the city. Not knowing how far he had walked, Yunfan suddenly heard a chanting voice in the distance. "Holy Son of Light, lend me your powerful magic to awaken the sleeping angels. The angels are coming." Yunfan turned his head in the direction of the chanting and saw an archangel holding a sword of light appearing in the distance, followed by a series of fierce light forces coming out of the air. "Servant of the God of Light, are you praying for my coming?" "Yes, respected archangel. There are beings who disobey my god on this road. I hope that your highness the archangel can help me kill the heretics. For the glory of my god, heretics can be killed by everyone," the archangel said indignantly. "It's just an 8th level angel with 2 wings. I want to see how you can eliminate me, a heretic." At this moment, the bronze coffin suddenly trembled, and the low voice sounded again, full of disdain for the angel. "Damn mortal, you dare to insult the messenger of the gods. Today, I will purify you in the name of my gods," the angel said as he flapped his wings and flew towards the bronze coffin. The members of the bone cult next to the bronze coffin saw the angel flying over and couldn't help but want to step forward to resist. "All of you retreat," the low voice sounded again, and then several blood-red stars appeared around the bronze coffin. The angel's sword slashed fiercely on the bronze coffin. To everyone's surprise, with a bang, the angel's sword did not leave any traces on the bronze coffin. Instead, the angel was shocked back several meters and stopped waving his wings. Power backlash. The angel's face showed an incredible expression. "Pagan, you really have some tricks. In this case, then you can try my magic, the light of great purification." The angel solemnly pointed the sword of light in his hand at the bronze coffin, and a beam of light full of holy power shot out from the tip of the sword of light. The bronze coffin was instantly submerged in the white light column. Almost everyone thought that the bronze coffin would turn into ashes in this holy light. But when the light of the great purification dissipated, it was discovered that the bronze coffin actually appeared in front of them. How is this possible? Even the light of the great purification has no effect on you? Are you immune to light magic? The angel looked at the bronze coffin in disbelief. "Angel. Haha. I slaughtered 800 angels in the past, if not 1000, and you, a 2-winged birdman, want to kill me?" The cold voice sounded again. "I don't know." When the bronze coffin has slowly opened, at this moment, 2 green rays of light suddenly shot out. They couldn't see anything, and a black mist completely covered the surroundings. The 2 green lights were as big as a wash basin, like 2 ghost lights, and like a pair of huge eyes, gloomy and terrifying in the black mist. "What on earth are you?" At this moment, the angel had lost his composure at the beginning, and his body began to tremble. "Go." As soon as the voice fell, 2 green lights suddenly appeared from the 2 gloomy and terrifying eyes. The 2 green lights moved very fast and came close to the angel in the blink of an eye. No one expected that after the angel touched the 2 green lights, he would be knocked out again. Damn low level creature, I must cut you into pieces. The angel flew out of the ruins with a hideous face, with endless resentment. Low level creature? Haha. It's just a killing machine created by the Light Clan. The tone was full of endless sarcasm. Then die. A strange green light appeared in the copper coffin again. I saw that the green light became faster and faster after leaving the copper coffin, completely locking the angel, and finally the light flashed and all sank into the angel's body. Angel. Cardinal Right Clarence of the Holy See screamed, but there was no way to stop it. Green light exploded on the angel, and then his holy body turned into stars and disappeared without a trace. Only a white jade plate remained in the air. The bright jade plate is a good thing. Since it appears here, you don't have to leave. Another green light shot out from the bronze coffin, and the light shot directly at the white plate. Then the plate trembled violently, as if trying to break free from the green light, but no matter how hard the plate tried, it couldn't break free. Asshole, what do you want to do? Cardinal Right Clarence of the Holy See screamed. What do I want to do? This bright jade plate is a good thing. Damn, what is that green light? Even the 8th level angel was destroyed by him in one go. Now even the core bright jade plate of the angel can't escape. Everyone felt unprecedented oppression. They regretted now, regretting not escaping here earlier. It's just a small trick, but it can cause such a big effect. Sakadan's sneer sounded in Ji Yunfan's heart. Sakadan, what do you mean by that? Ji Yunfan asked after a slight pause. What do you think angels are? Sakadan did not directly answer Ji Yunfan's question and asked instead. Angels should be considered a kind of higher life form. How can they be considered as such? That guy is right. Angels are just fighting machines created by the Light Clan. And like elemental elves, their bodies are completely made up of light element. However, unlike elemental elves, angels' bodies are very unstable. Once other element penetrate into the core of the light jade plate, the angels will be completely killed. Chapter 191 Plague Mist. Could it be that this jade token of light has other uses? As long as the light and the token are not lost, the angel is not completely dead. As long as there are enough light element, it is entirely possible to create another angel. Even if it is not used to create an angel, it can be used completely as a magic core. If you can get that piece of light and the token, I can modify the jade token to help you create a fallen angel. It seems that guy also has the ability to modify jade. If I can have an 8th level fallen angel, as long as the saint level doesn't come out, I can go anywhere in the world. Ji Yunfan's eyes were full of fire, but he soon gave up. What do you think is my chance of taking the angel jade token from that guy? Don't talk about the chances of winning. Even the possibility of surviving is probably very low. I'll give you one more chance now. Hand over the sacred tree obediently, and then become a slave of our bone cult. Becoming a slave of your bone cult. I think you are daydreaming. It seems that you are ready to resist to the end. An even more indifferent voice came from the bronze coffin, and at the same time a faint black mist spread. The big men of the major forces were slightly stunned when they saw the black fog, and then they seemed to think of something, and their faces turned very pale. This is the plague fog. Don't inhale this fog into your body, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. Hearing the instructions of these big men, many low-level professionals, although they didn't know what it was for, still did it according to the words of these big men. It's just that the words of these big men seemed to be a little late, and many people had already inhaled the fog into their bodies. At the moment, when the fog entered their bodies, many low-level professionals were intoxicated by it, and it was a feeling of ecstasy. It seems that there is no problem. But before their voices fell, several people who inhaled the fog had red eyes, and their current state was actually somewhat similar to those crazy monsters. Looking at the comrades who once fought side by side, rushing towards them, those who did not inhale the fog were a little at a loss. The black mist soon reached Ji Yunfan, and soon covered half of the city. The people from all the major forces were a little overwhelmed at this moment. They not only had to be on guard against the monsters around them, but also needed to be careful of the people around them, because they had no idea who would be the next one to be corrupted by the mist. Many people wanted to use antidotes to save their friends, but it had no effect at all. Inadvertently, Ji Yunfan also inhaled a small group of mist. He personally felt the feeling of inhaling the mist. The feeling of floating in the air intoxicated him. Slowly, he felt his consciousness begin to blur, and a bloodthirsty impulse spread in his heart. Ji Yunfan, wake up quickly. Just as Ji Yunfan was slowly losing himself, an anxious voice suddenly sounded in his heart. At the same time, Ji Yunfan felt a warm current coming from his sea of consciousness. The extremely manic mood suddenly became cold, as if it was frozen. He hurriedly operated the Dalki heart method of the King Emperor's creation art, and a little colorful light bloomed in an instant. Boom boom boom. Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness turned into a colorful ocean. With a loud tremor, the mist that entered Ji Yunfan's body rushed out of Ji Yunfan's body as if frightened, and hid far away. At the same time, Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness instantly returned to calm, and the seedling of the world tree was like a sea stabilizing magic needle. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. At this moment, his clothes were soaked with sweat. Thank you, little sapling. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid I would become the same as them this time. This so-called plague mist is really terrifying. Not far from Ji Yunfan, several guys were about to escape, and a mist sank into the body of one of them in the blink of an eye. Hazen, what's wrong with you? However, before the guy's friend finished speaking, the guy's eyes turned red, and he suddenly stood up, let out a low roar, like a beast, and looked at his original friend coldly. Go, don't worry about Hazen. He's crazy now. Hazen, what's wrong with you? Wake up. A green fighting spirit bloomed, and the girl closest to him was cut into 2 pieces by the fighting spirit. Sakan, is there any way to make them sober again? There is a way, but you can't do any of it now. Boss, how do you know I can't do it? If you don't tell me, kill the people in the bronze coffin, and all the crazy people will return to normal. Damn, I really can't do this. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but feel a little discouraged. You still have the mood to care about other people's lives now. While those guys don't notice you, the way is to withdraw from this city quickly. I told you not to come back a long time ago, but you just didn't listen to me. While Ji Yunfan and Sakadin were talking, several more professionals lost themselves under the erosion of the black fog. Ji Yunfan didn't know what to do with these low-level professionals who were killing him. If he was asked to kill these lost professionals directly, he would not be able to do it. However, if he did not kill them, more and more people would besiege him. Ji Yunfan's situation quickly attracted the attention of others. I feel a very mysterious aura on this kid. He is a very good research material. Ji Yunfan naturally did not know that his current behavior had attracted the attention of the guy in the bronze coffin, but it was precisely because of the attention of the bronze coffin that he was given this chance to escape death. At this moment, a strong suction suddenly came from the bronze coffin, followed by a strong wind. The whole city was filled with flying sand and rocks and black fog. The bronze coffin floated up gently, and the bright jade card locked in the air was directly sucked into the bronze coffin. Then dozens of corpses around floated up and flew into the bronze coffin with the bright jade card. At this moment, the whole world seemed to be clear and bright all of a sudden, and the stars in the sky reappeared in the sky, but from a distance, the stars seemed to be covered with a layer of blood. The bronze coffin closed instantly, and a huge blood-red 6-pointed star appeared under the bronze coffin, spinning strangely. Although everyone present felt that something was wrong, they did not dare to act rashly. Damn bastard, hand over the bright jade plate. Right, Clarence roared loudly. Once I lost the bright jade plate, I could no longer summon other angels. Chapter 192, The Appearance of Hate. Angel summoning is different from ordinary magic. It not only requires a magician to reach the 8th level and build the corresponding magic base model, it is also necessary to reach an agreement with the angel. So far, only this angel has recognized that Right Clarence has signed a contract with him. Once the light jade card is taken away, it means that this angel is completely dead, and he will lose the ability to summon angels. The reason why he can become a cardinal is because he can summon angels. Now that the angels are gone, even if he returns to the Holy See, he may not be a cardinal for long. Give me back the light jade card, I can exchange it with you for the sacred tree. Right, Clarence can't care about so much now. If he loses his identity as a cardinal, it will be more painful for him than killing him. If you want the bright jade plate back, then be my slave. Damn bastard, you actually want me to be your slave? This is absolutely impossible. Right, Clarence's face was gloomy and terrible, and then he cast his eyes on the people around him and said, "If you can help me snatch the bright jade plate back, I, Right Clarence, will owe you a favor." At their level, it is very difficult to make further progress. The immediate interests are no longer important, so they will not easily owe others a favor. It is indeed very attractive for them to be able to make a cardinal owe a favor, but at this moment these people are indeed hesitant. They really don't have the confidence to snatch the bright jade plate back from Winifred Bryson, the peak powerhouse of the 8th level. Damn. How did things develop to this point? Just when everyone was hesitant, the lid of the bronze coffin suddenly opened, and then a monster like a meat mountain staggered out from it. Disgusting. The faces of everyone present became very ugly. "Let's retreat too," Marcellus Swift said in a deep voice. "Retreat. Unless a saint level strongman takes action, no one can destroy this abomination." Canon Habakkuk also said solemnly. Damn it. Right, Clarence didn't know how many times he had said these two words today. He looked at the abomination unwillingly. He knew that his days as a cardinal were over. As the saying goes, a defeated army is like a mountain collapsing. These big men have all admitted their defeat, and those low-level professionals are like losing their backbone, and began to flee in panic. Even the adults are going to evacuate. Retreat quickly. Those low-level professionals who were still fighting no longer had the will to resist, and crawled towards the city gate. They were also crowding madly and screaming irrationally. Screams, cries, and shouts of big men resounded throughout the city, and it became completely difficult for the big men to control. Yunfan fought against those professionals who had lost their minds, while looking at these professionals who were already scared, with sadness in his eyes. They were now like panicked lambs. They could have resisted at first, but now they were completely like lambs in a tiger's mouth. Explosive flame. Thousands of explosions. A chant was heard not far away. Yunfan turned his head, and found that several magicians were furious and fierce flames were coming out of the air. The flames penetrated and alternated with each other. Every time they passed, the surrounding monsters let out a painful roar. You have no experience at all. If you play like this, you will be a dead end. The magician glanced at the people who fled with disdain. Other low-level professionals also responded, and began to retreat while fighting. Everyone must cooperate sincerely, otherwise it will be very difficult to escape alive. Another low-level professional also stood up. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw that this low-level professional also completed his low-level magic water arrow technique in just 4 seconds. He raised his hand, and a bow and arrow made of water element appeared in front of him. Then he quickly pointed it at a mad monster, and the monster was stabbed to the core. But these low-level professionals already knew that it was difficult to escape by their own strength, so they organized themselves spontaneously. The warriors were responsible for resisting in the front, and the mages were responsible for output in the back. Yunfan also began to evacuate with the large army. The people of the bone cult were not interested in these low-level professionals, because their goal was the sacred tree in Right Clarence's hand. Right Clarence's contracted angel had been killed, and now all his hopes were placed on the tomb of the gods. If the sacred tree he photographed was really something extraordinary, he might be given a treasure by the God of Light to keep his identity as a cardinal, so he would never give up the sacred tree. The main force of the bone cult has already put all its energy on chasing Right Clarence, so the pressure on others is naturally much less. Do you really want to be the enemy of our church? Aren't you afraid that the same thing will happen again? Right Clarence threatened in a deep voice. After passing through the city gate, there were not many people on the street. The scattered city, the overturned stalls full of miscellaneous goods, the open but unattended shops, and many ruined houses. There are ordinary people and professionals in every city, but most of these ordinary people serve the professionals. When the orange warning was just launched, most of the ordinary people hid in the house. The monsters have been attacking the city until now, but there are still a large number of ordinary people who have not died. As these professionals fled, many ordinary people in the vicinity rushed over, wanting to use the power of the professionals to leave this once prosperous city. Even ordinary people have the right to pursue survival. Hey, this may be very troublesome. Many professionals understand that the more people there are, the easier it is to attract the attention of groups of monsters. But if they are asked to give up the lives of ordinary people directly, they can't do it. What should we do? Why not form a temporary advanced team with professionals? The team can attack or defend. We have Imperial soldiers behind to escort the ordinary people. A young man dressed as an Imperial soldier suggested. This method is feasible. Some professionals looked at the trembling ordinary people and gritted their teeth and responded. The advanced team does not need too many people. A dozen or 20 will be enough. Yunfan thought about it and finally decided to join the advanced team. Chapter 193 Evacuation. I'm afraid there will be quite a few people evacuating this time. Ordinary people don't have the ability to resist, so they naturally don't dare to go out. Some professionals sighed and said to others, the individual combat power of these low-level professionals is stronger than that of regular troops, but it's a bit worse when it comes to cooperation. In this situation, being able to protect themselves is already amazing, and protecting ordinary people is really too much of a stretch. As the guardian of the empire, we can't just abandon them, said an Imperial soldier. Let's go. Now that the large forces are getting bigger and bigger, the burden on us will be heavier, said an Imperial squad leader. The soldiers nodded. The advanced team began to move. Several assassin professionals were responsible for exploring the way, and the others followed closely. The leading Imperial squad leader was obviously a soldier with combat experience. He had some experience in the deployment of personnel and the maintenance of formations, so he would not be completely at a loss in the face of such a situation. The dozen or so advanced team members did not move very fast, and they crossed the street straight. There is a 5th level demon wolf more than a mile ahead. An assassin of the advanced team ran back with a pale face and said to everyone a little breathlessly, in a frenzy, I'm afraid we can't fight it. Another assassin added. The two of them saw with their own eyes an assassin being torn apart by the 5th level demon wolf. The scene made them feel unprecedented horror. They didn't know if this tragedy would happen to them. They continued to move forward and bypassed the 5th level frenzy demon wolf, but before they walked far, they were discovered by the frenzy demon wolf, and then the demon wolf pounced on everyone. Damn, this guy actually discovered us. Everyone, form a battle formation. As soon as a voice fell, the 5th level demon wolf was not far away from them. Then it suddenly jumped up, opened its bloody mouth, and bit the person at the front of the team. That person was a 3rd level warrior who looked very strong, but his neck was bitten off by the demon wolf in the horror of everyone, and blood sprayed out wantonly, smearing on the people around him. This scene appeared too suddenly. Even Yunfan hadn't made any preparations at all. He was right next to that person, and the blood of that warrior was also spilled on him. This magic wolf is actually from the space system. Yunfan shouted to everyone at the moment of the shock. He was too familiar with the fluctuations of space magic. Brother, are you mistaken? Where in the world is there a magic wolf from the space system? A low-level professional obviously didn't believe it. Before the professional's words fell, the magic wolf suddenly disappeared in front of everyone. Could this magic wolf really be from the space system? The low-level professional's face turned pale. He looked around nervously, trying to find the trace of the magic wolf. Yunfan's mind moved, feeling whether there was any fluctuation in the space. Suddenly, Yunfan pointed in the air and whispered, "Dark destruction." "What? Brother, you want to kill me?" the low-level professional exclaimed with a pale face. Just as he finished shouting, a space fluctuation appeared in front of him, and then the ferocious demon wolf flew out from it. Just as he was about to swallow the low-level professional into his mouth, Yunfan's finger suddenly burst out a dark black light column. The black light column hit the demon wolf directly, and the demon wolf didn't even react and flew several meters away. The low-level professional who was still blaming Yunfan was stunned by what was happening in front of him, and was speechless for a moment. "Thank you, brother. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid I would." "Don't say so much useless things. If you keep doing this, your life may be in danger." Yunfan pulled the low-level professional behind him. "Hurry up and deal with the demon wolf, otherwise, when other demon beasts dare to come, you will have to pay a heavy price to deal with it," Yunfan said with a slight frown. Yunfan's words startled everyone. The mages began to recite magic spells one after another. "Why do I feel that this magic wolf is still unfamiliar with space magic?" Yunfan muttered to himself. Could it be? Yunfan suddenly had an idea and thought of a possibility. This magic wolf might not have been a space type, but the dirty god potion made it mutate. If this is really the case, then the dirty god potion is incredible. Cave wave. Wind blade. Flame explosion. The assassin quickly attracted the attention of the magic wolf. Soon, with his agility, the assassin's figure nimbly shuttled between the pile of messy rubble. Every time the magic wolf wanted to tear the assassin's chest with his claws, it always caught the assassin's afterimage. With the assassin's attraction, many magics hit the magic wolf. The space magic wolf is just like this. The assassin moved quickly with pride in his heart. Be careful, this magic wolf is not a single attribute. Yunfan's expression straightened up, because he felt a hidden wind element fluctuation. What? A wind blade suddenly shot out from the mouth of the magic wolf. The assassin didn't even have time to react before being hit in the chest by the wind blade. How is it possible? How can this magic wolf have dual attributes? The assassin couldn't help but cough a few mouthfuls of blood and said in confusion. Yunfan's use of mental power has reached a very high level. Under his mental power, the magic wolf's every move cannot be hidden. Although this little assassin is very talented, he lacks experience. These magic beasts have always lived in an environment where the weak are preyed upon by the strong. Their means of catching them are much stronger than those of ordinary professionals who are at ease. Although the assassin has been very careful after Yunfan's reminder, he still paid a painful price for his arrogance. If I'm not mistaken, the magic wolf was originally a wind-attributed magic beast. Under the influence of the dirty god potion, it mutated. Look at the color of the magic wolf is turning red. A low-level professional said in the direction of the magic wolf. Yunfan saw it and thought to himself, could it be that this demon wolf is going to evolve again? After one evolution, it has already developed spatial attributes. They are already overwhelmed. If it evolves again, who knows what it will become? Warcraft can be said to be a natural darling of magic. Warcraft of the same rank, compared to humans, the power of magic is generally much stronger. Chapter 194 Eternal Night. Emperor's Sword. Perhaps because of the dark destruction, or perhaps because it felt that only Yunfan could pose a threat to it among these people, the demon wolf locked its target on Yunfan. The demon wolf's ability is not just to bite and tear. The most terrifying thing is the wind blades and space blades released from the demon wolf's mouth, which are enough to easily penetrate a person's body. Eternal Night Retreat. Yunfan's figure suddenly dimmed. The target that had been locked suddenly disappeared, making the demon wolf a little at a loss, and then it became irritable. The wind blades and space blades were like a spraying machine gun, madly released in all directions. Although these wind blades and space blades were not aimed at a certain person, the powerful destructive power of the date still frightened everyone. Eternal Night Emperor's Sword. A dark holy sword seemed to come across time and space and exploded in front of the demon wolf. The strong dark power pierced into the demon wolf's mind like a sharp blade, and the power of decay spread rapidly. The power of corrosion made the demon wolf let out a series of wailing sounds and bumped around aimlessly. Eternal Night Eternal Sword Explosion. Yunfan's voice was cold. This was the first time he used the third stage of the Eternal Night magic. As the dark elemental Emperor's Sword exploded, the demon wolf's head was directly blown open, and it couldn't die anymore. Thank you, sir. At this moment, these people realized that there seemed to be a great god in the advanced team. You're welcome, everyone. Let's leave here quickly. Yunfan came to the demon wolf and took out its magic core. For some reason, Yunfan felt an inexplicable sense of uneasiness in his heart. There were quite a few magic beasts along the way, but fortunately, the level of the magic beasts was not too high, and the members of the advanced team could barely cope with it. Just when everyone was intoxicated with the joy of escaping death, a rumbling sound came from afar. Everyone couldn't help but look in that direction and saw a huge meat mountain running towards them. In front of the meat mountain was a black dot. Compared with the meat mountain, the black dot was insignificant. If you don't look carefully, you might ignore it directly. Is that the abomination? Hasn't that thing gone to hunt down Cardinal Right Clarence? Didn't you see the black dot in front? Is it Cardinal Right Clarence? Someone suddenly shouted. Damn it, it seems to be, damn it, it seems to want to attract the abomination to our side. After all, he is a cardinal, he shouldn't do this. Whether he is a cardinal or not, we must hurry up. The abomination can devour everything and live by devouring. I'm afraid that we are not enough to fill his teeth. The members of the advance team did not dare to stay and ran quickly towards the Moses forest. However, the black dot seemed to be consciously heading towards the direction of Yunfan's advance team. It seems that guy is determined to use us as a shield. Yunfan said coldly. But what should we do? For them, an ordinary 5th level monster can take their lives, not to mention the 8th level behemoth of hatred. No matter who that guy is, he actually wants us to die, so we must not let him have an easy time. When facing death, everyone's potential is very great. Rabbits will bite when they are forced, and people will be even more so when they are forced. These low-level professionals saw the hatred getting closer and closer to them, and they couldn't help but feel angry at the same time as they were sad. We must find a way to stop the hatred, Yunfan said in his heart. As the hatred and the black dot approached, everyone saw the true face of the black dot. Just as they expected, the black dot was Cardinal Right Clarence. Brothers, don't just run away. Killing heretics is your sacred mission. Right Clarence said loudly with a look of grief. Can you tolerate this side harming the human race? That tone was as if he was the savior. Yunfan had no good feelings for this guy who always liked to let himself stand on the moral high ground. Yunfan guessed that this guy just wanted his small team to contain the hatred and create an opportunity for him to escape. What should we do now? Everyone's eyes were cast on Yunfan. Unknowingly, everyone had regarded Yunfan as their leader. Since someone wants us to die, let's see if he has the ability to do so. A cold light flashed in Yunfan's eyes. That's right. Anyway, the worst case is death. Everyone in the advanced team responded firmly. Eternal night descend. The black mist instantly spread from Yunfan's side, placing everything around him in darkness. In this darkness, Yunfan felt that he was like a god and could control everything in the darkness. Feeling the fluctuation of the dark element, Right Clarence could not help but frown. Light and darkness are originally opposing element. People who practice these two elements of magic will hate each other for no reason. This little friend, I didn't expect that you have mastered the dark element so thoroughly, Right Clarence said as he ran towards the direction where Yunfan and the others were. Lord Right Clarence, can we, the little people, contend with the abomination that beat you and made you flee all over the ground? It's better to find someone else. Yunfan said, neither servile nor arrogant. Although your strength is not too strong, it is also a good force to cooperate. Who knows, you may be able to solve the abomination. Right Clarence looked at Yunfan with disgust. Although the disgusted expression was quickly covered up by him, it was still discovered by Yunfan. Yunfan is now 100% sure that Right Clarence definitely has ulterior motives. Right Clarence, if you come close to us, we would attack. Yunfan didn't want to fight with this hypocritical guy anymore and said directly, I originally thought you were a promising talent and wanted to help you, but I didn't expect you to be so ungrateful. Since you have said so much, I will no longer hide anything. You useless people, just be my shield. Eternal Night Hellflower Sea. Chapter 195 No Mercy. A pure black rose instantly bloomed in front of Yunfan's eyes and suddenly blocked Right Clarence. Boy, do you think you can stop me with your fourth order festival magic? Holy light purification. As Right Clarence's magic was completed, the black rose that blocked him gradually melted in the holy light. The dark element that originally filled the entire space actually faded a lot. Light and darkness are opposites and restrain each other. Whoever has the stronger power will be the final winner. You are a small 4th order dark magician, and you want to fight me, an 8th order sky level magician? But my goal is not to fight you head on. Yunfan had already expected the effect of the holy light, but Yunfan didn't care about it. The gap between the two was too big. It was impossible to kill Right Clarence, so Yunfan's goal was to slow down Right Clarence. Just hold you back for a while. Damn it, I didn't expect you to be so mean. Right Clarence's face suddenly changed. He only now understood Yunfan's plan. Eternal Night Emperor Sword. Yunfan's magic was completed in an instant, and he directly forced Right Clarence back several steps. At this moment, the abomination had also caught up. The octopus-like arm instantly chopped down and hit right Clarence directly, knocking him dozens of meters away. A golden holy light instantly bloomed from right Clarence's body. This golden holy light was released by a sacred protection ring, and this ring was a treasure given to him by the Pope when he was promoted to cardinal. This beast, I will skin you alive. Right Clarence seemed extremely angry. Since he became a cardinal, he has never suffered such a big loss. Haha, you have to have this ability too. Of course, you should solve the current dilemma first. Yunfan smiled coldly. What? Before right Clarence could react, the abomination had already appeared behind him, and then opened its bloody mouth towards him, about to swallow him into its stomach. And protection of the holy light. One step late, every step late, there was no way right Clarence could only choose passive defense. The abomination was staring at right Clarence. The whip-like tentacles madly whipped right Clarence under the holy light. Everyone, hurry up, the abomination is not targeting us. Yunfan hurriedly said to everyone. Everyone reacted immediately and evacuated to the distance one by one. Assholes, you pagans, just wait, I will definitely tie you all to the stake. Right Clarence cursed loudly with a hideous face. He never thought that these people would be so bold that they dared to use magic on him blatantly, especially you. Anyone who has anything to do with you is a heretic and will be burned to death on the stake. Really? Yunfan raised the corner of his mouth and revealed a hint of sneer, then said to the others around him, you retreat first, I will follow. But, if you don't want to escape this disaster and still be killed by him, leave now. Sir, he can't take care of himself now, why do you have to stay? This guy is a dignified cardinal, I don't believe he doesn't have any trump cards in his hand. If we let him go back alive, we will all die. Bastard, you guessed right, I do have a trump card in my hand. Wait until I get rid of this abomination and personally sacrifice you, a pagan, to the god of light. Right Clarence said, gritting his teeth. How much do you think you can do by staying here? Kill me. You're a little 4th level dark magician? Do I have the ability? It's not up to you to decide. Yunfan said calmly, turning his head and saying to everyone, if you don't leave now, it will be too late. Don't become a burden to me. If it weren't for you, sir, we probably wouldn't have lived this long. If we can survive this time, we will serve you as our master. What a touching scene. It doesn't matter whether you leave or not, you're all going to die anyway. Right Clarence said with a grim face. The members of the advanced team hesitated for a moment after hearing this and left. Now there are only 2 of us left. I want to see why you, a 4th level jerk, are so arrogant. Eternal Night Sword of the Son of Heaven explosion. Right Clarence's face turned pale, and he subconsciously dodged to the side. The dark aura left by the explosion of the Sword of the Son of Heaven actually opened a small hole in the protection of the holy light. Little beast, go to hell. Holy light burn. Right Clarence was furious, and his body was twisted with holy light like a god, flying towards Yunfan. The power of holy light burn was quite fierce, even much stronger than the fire magic of the same level. The scorching light burned Yunfan so much that he couldn't open his eyes. He could only dodge by feeling. Yunfan really didn't expect the opponent's magic to be so powerful. A smell of cooked meat emanated from his body, and the strong pain made his face pale. Yunfan hurriedly urged the fighting spirit in his body to form a fighting spirit membrane outside his body, isolating the scorching light magic element from his body. The kid is quite interesting. He can actually block my holy light. Right Clarence said with a hint of mockery, and then he took out a magic scroll from his space ring, and at the same time, a look of pain appeared on his face. Little thing, you really make me angry, you know? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have wasted this magic teleportation scroll. You can just wait to be hunted down by my men. Seeing the teleportation scroll in right Clarence's hand, Yunfan's face turned very ugly. Although he thought that right Clarence might hide some cards, he didn't expect that he would actually take out a teleportation scroll. No, I can't let him go back anyway, otherwise I can only flee to the ends of the earth. Yunfan thought to himself. How about it? Do you regret attacking me just now? Little thing, even if you regret it, it's useless. I must kill you. Yunfan quickly circulated the fighting spirit in his body, and his eyes were filled with unprecedented determination. He took out a long sword from the space ring. Chapter 196 Killing. Holding a sword in his left hand and a staff in his right hand, he looked like a strange person. Demon Seal slash. Ji Yunfan's speed suddenly increased. Like lightning, the sharp sword was unsheathed, and the tip of the sword stabbed towards right Clarence's chest. I really didn't expect that you, a kid, are both magic and martial arts practitioners. I was really surprised. Seeing Ji Yunfan's performance at this time, right Clarence shook his head slightly, but the difference in power between the two of us is too great. Your attack has the power of the 7th level, but it is still impossible to break my sacred light. What's impossible? Nothing is impossible in my eyes. Ji Yunfan knew that he had to go all out now to solve the trouble in front of him, otherwise he would face the pursuit of the church, and I'm afraid he would have to live a life of hiding from the world from now on. Ji Yunfan's heart was more determined than ever before, and he changed the circulation route of his fighting spirit according to the Great Shura technique. A brutal aura emanated from him, and Ji Yunfan felt as if he was suddenly in an endless darkness. This feeling made Ji Yunfan feel a little suffocated. If possible, he would rather not use this technique for the rest of his life. Feeling the change in Ji Yunfan's aura, right Clarence shuddered involuntarily. What on earth is going on? Even if this kid is practicing both magic and martial arts, he has only just broken through the 5th level. How can he give me such a thrilling feeling? This feeling is like despair. Neither Ji Yunfan nor right Clarence thought that the abomination would tremble in this aura, as if it had encountered some terrible natural enemy. That strange voice sounded in Ji Yunfan's heart. Kill, kill like crazy. Kill all the living things in this world. Kill, kill like crazy. This world should have been destroyed long ago. As the strange voice sounded, Ji Yunfan's consciousness gradually became blurred. A powerful and evil force burst out from his body, and that force was so strong that it instantly broke through the holy light of right Clarence. Pagan, you are indeed a pagan. The expression on right Clarence's face was replaced by fear. Great Shura slash. Ji Yunfan said softly with a cold tone. Then a great alchemy slashed out of thin air, which was so fast that right Clarence didn't have time to think, and directly stretched out the magic wand in his hand to resist. I saw that the great alchemy blade, like cutting tofu, directly smashed the magic wand in right Clarence's hand. After smashing the magic wand, the great alchemy did not disappear, but went towards right Clarence's arm. No. Right Clarence wanted to take his hand back, but unfortunately he was still a step too slow. Right Clarence's arm was directly cut off, and blood sprayed directly, splashing Ji Yunfan's face. At this moment, Ji Yunfan seemed to have changed into a different person, waving the sword in his hand frantically, like a machine that did not know fatigue at all. My god, what state is this kid in now? How could he have so much despair? Sakuden watched everything in Ji Yunfan's mind with fear and trepidation. The despairing emotion even frightened him, who was once a god. Mysterious sapling ancestor, you must save him. Otherwise, this kid will probably sink forever. Sakuden muttered. It seemed that, because of hearing Sakuden's prayer, the sapling of the world tree actually trembled a few times, and began to transmit a very special and mysterious energy to Ji Yunfan. This energy gives people a feeling of broadness and warmth, as if it can accommodate everything in the world. In the endless darkness, Ji Yunfan seemed to see a green light spot, which gradually expanded and expanded, just like hope in despair. Ji Yunfan stretched out his hand involuntarily, and grabbed the green light spot. Ji Yunfan felt a broad and warm power spreading in his body, and finally dispelled the despair. When Ji Yunfan regained consciousness, he found that he had cut right Clarence's neck with a long sword. The head flew far away, with an incredible expression on his face. And the abomination that was chasing right Clarence had disappeared. Right Clarence, was he killed by me? Ji Yunfan, you must remember not to use the Great Ashura slash, unless it is absolutely necessary. I have never felt such evil power. Sakuden said solemnly, just now, if it weren't for the help of the mysterious sapling, you would probably have become a demon who only knows how to kill. I know, if it wasn't, because I had to, I wouldn't use the Great Ashura slash. But fortunately, I escaped from death this time, and got unexpected gains. Ji Yunfan said, while taking off his space ring from right Clarence's right hand. With the death of Right Clarence, the spiritual imprint on the space ring has disappeared, and Ji Yunfan easily left his spiritual imprint on it. Ji Yunfan used his spiritual power to scan everything in the space ring, and found that there were actually quite a few 6th and 7th level magic cores, some 6th and 7th level high level magic scrolls, some magic props and weapons of high level, and a notebook for practicing light magic. Everything in it was almost priceless, but what interested Ji Yunfan the most was the magical ancient wood that Right Clarence bought at the auction. Ji Yunfan's mind moved slightly, and the mysterious ancient wood was taken out of the space ring. Looking at the texture on the ancient wood, Ji Yunfan had a sense of deja vu. Could it be that I have seen this kind of thing somewhere? It shouldn't be. At this moment, the sapling of the world tree in Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness trembled violently, and then flew out of Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness without Ji Yunfan's control. The sapling of the world tree was seen, and the roots of the tree instantly coiled around it. No wonder I feel this texture is so familiar. Ji Yunfan said thoughtfully, it is the same as the texture on your body. Could it be that this magical ancient wood comes from the world tree? The sapling of the world tree shook up and down several times in the air, as if responding to Ji Yunfan's words, and then a colorful light covered the entire sapling of the world tree. A very mysterious breath spread out, and the whole world seemed to be illuminated by the rosy glow. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197, Far-reaching Impact. The Divine Light. Could it be that someone has broken through the realm of the gods and become a god? Could it be that the Son of God has descended? Various versions of speculation appeared on the continent. However, Ji Yunfan, the initiator, had no idea that his and the sapling's actions had shocked the entire continent. After the world tree sapling returned to Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness, Ji Yunfan did not stay any longer. God knows whether the abomination really left. If that guy comes back, he will definitely be a food delivery man. Not to mention that there is a mysterious bone cult strongman. If that guy knows that he has obtained the divine tree he wants, the ending can be imagined. I asked you to hunt down Right Clarence, but you actually escaped back like this. You actually let a useless person who lost the angel's summon escape. There was an angry roar from the bronze coffin. The abomination that was hunting down Right Clarence twisted his fat body, as if he wanted to explain something. Forget it. Maybe that thing is not the boundary-breaking sacred tree. The voice in the bronze coffin gradually calmed down. It has been a few days since returning from the Moses forest. The news of the death of the cardinal of the bone cult has spread throughout the continent, and the continent seems to have fallen into a precarious era. Ji Yunfan didn't care about the rumors on the continent at all. He didn't think that anyone would focus on a small figure like him. Sometimes deliberately hiding may make it easier to reveal the truth. In the few days before the college competition, Ji Yunfan, in addition to reading books in the college every day, was studying some things on the link in the grocery store. Although his life was hard, his mental power was slowly improving, and the results achieved in his practice made him very happy. The alchemical potion that Sakadin taught him to refine was so powerful that it was far beyond Ji Yunfan's or even Sakadin's expectations. It was originally thought that even with the help of the alchemical potion, Ji Yunfan would need at least 1 month to reach the peak of the 4th order spiritual power. Unexpectedly, he shortened the time by more than half. Of course, the emergence of this kind of emotional consciousness was inseparable from the seedling of the world tree and the sea of consciousness. In this regard, even Sakadin couldn't help but be surprised at the efficiency of Ji Yunfan's cultivation. Although this had a lot to do with his help, this speed was really too fast. You know, the foundation of magic cultivation is particularly difficult to cultivate. There are not a few people who spend 10 or even 20 years to reach the peak of the 4th order of spiritual power. Of course, once you break through the 5th order, it will be a new world. The 5th order can be said to be a watershed, and some people may not be able to break through in their lifetime. Becoming a true junior master, the speed of cultivation will be greatly accelerated. before breaking through the 5th level. 1 year may only be able to improve a little bit, but after entering the 5th level, it may be possible to soar several times in a year. Whether it is fighting spirit cultivation or magic cultivation, after the 5th level is a new world. Compared with others, Yunfan's cultivation seems extremely inconsistent. Yunfan's performance in the past few days is indeed a bit scary. Without hesitation, he drank a bottle of spiritual cultivation strengthening potion that he prepared, and Yunfan began to meditate. As Yunfan's breathing became steady, a slight elemental storm blew in the room. There was another long silence. At a certain moment, Yunfan on the bed opened his eyes suddenly, and with a thought, a black dark elemental sword appeared in his hand. Then the thought moved again, and a green seed sprouted in his hand, instantly forming a high wall entangled with thorns. You have completed the silent casting of the 4th level magic so quickly. Even an ordinary 8th level magician would find it difficult to do this. Following the control of consciousness, the thorn wall quickly spread throughout the room. Where the palm pointed, a potion bottle on the table, where the thorns were entangled suddenly shook a few times, and finally fell to the ground with a bang. With a crisp sound, it turned into fragments all over the floor. It's a pity that my control over plant magic is too poor. I wanted to use the thorns to get the potion bottle, but I didn't expect it to be a little bit worse. Yunfan curled his lips and said to himself helplessly, I really don't know when I can achieve perfect control. Sakuten has now selectively forgotten Yunfan's words. Yunfan's current control ability is much stronger than when he was at the saint level, and now Yunfan is still not satisfied. Forget it, let's go to the library first to see if there is any new inspiration. Yunfan stood up and stretched, then walked in front of the door and pushed it out. Are you going to the library again? You are really hardworking. The one who greeted Yunfan was a beautiful senior sister recruited by his academy, who was usually responsible for some things in the store. Learn as long as you live. I really envy your talent, senior sister. I still have self-knowledge. I'm afraid that I will never achieve too high a level of magic in this life. Unlike you, junior brother, you have only been in school for a year and have already reached the 4th place in the student ranking. The real strength is probably higher than the 4th. I have to hold your thighs well. When you become successful in the future, you can take care of me, the beautiful senior sister said with a smile. Yunfan narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at the beautiful senior sister. My senior sister, I have been in the academy for more than a year. I still know what the surname Elizabeth represents. Although I don't know why you come to my grocery store to help, my intuition tells me that you have no bad intentions towards me. Junior brother, you are not secretly in love with senior sister, right? You even checked the identity of senior sister so carefully. The beautiful senior sister touched her chin and smiled. If other people in the academy were to come, they would be surprised to see that senior sister has such a lovely side. Yunfan said with a teasing tone. Junior brother, you are really mysterious. I'm really more and more curious about you. What kind of secrets are hidden in you? Since it is a secret, of course I can't let senior sister know. Yunfan smiled slightly and turned to walk out of the grocery store. The sun was shining brightly. After slightly adapting to the slightly scorching sunlight, Yunfan leisurely walked along the narrow path and slowly walked towards the academy library. There were green tall trees planted on both sides of the path. The lush green made Yunfan feel refreshed. He seemed to be able to feel the growth of the tall trees. Chapter 198 Meeting and Rear again. Turning a corner, a burst of girlish laughter came from another path. Yunfan frowned slightly, and his eyes followed the sound. What came into view was a group of girls in magic robes. Surrounded by several magic girls, a girl with a more charming appearance was smiling lightly, and a different style appeared on her face, which made the girls around her a little eclipsed. This girl was Andrea, who had met her once before. Glancing at the beautiful girl indifferently, Yunfan's face was indifferent, and he shook his head gently and retracted his gaze without any nostalgia. Walking over here, Andrea looked at Yunfan with interest. She never thought that the once inconspicuous boy could actually come to this point. What secrets did he have? The morning sun rose in the east, and the rays of light fell from the sky, shining on the boy, which was extremely mysterious. Andrea's pair of somewhat enchanting eyes stared at the boy who was getting closer and closer, and the corners of her mouth slightly raised, and suddenly there was some inexplicable trance. Mysterious guy. It only took 1 year to achieve such an impressive result. Looking at the boy who was walking slowly, Andrea stopped and thought to herself, is he worth my investment? Although he is very talented, he has many enemies, and many people don't want him to grow up. Several magical girls beside Andrea looked at the mysterious boy with big eyes, and their expressions were very complicated, regretful, curious or something else. Andrea paused in place, feeling a little entangled in her heart. How should she face Yunfan? If she had a close relationship with him, it would inevitably make the people of those families angry. Should she draw a line with those powerful people for the sake of this boy in front of her? In her heart, she actually wanted to have a good chat with this mysterious boy, but reality told her that as a child of a noble, she had to consider many things because of the gap between the two. The curved leaf eyebrows wrinkled slightly and then stretched out. Andrea said helplessly in her heart, say hello, no matter what, he is in the same college as me. Not knowing what Andrea was thinking, Yunfan walked over calmly. Hello, Andrea, I didn't expect to meet you here. What a coincidence. Looking at Yunfan who was so close, Andrea also showed a smile on her face and responded politely, yes, Dante, I didn't expect that we would be so coincidental. You should be more careful during this period. Those guys seem to be preparing to deal with you. Thank you for your concern, Andrea, little beautiful girl. I don't think those trash can do anything to me. Yunfan smiled confidently. Although his current strength is not strong, as long as the saint level does not appear, the possibility of killing him is almost zero. What I told you is true. Can't you be more serious? Andrea said with a little blame. Although Andrea felt that Yunfan was quite capable, in her opinion, it would be dangerous if he was targeted by those families. Don't worry, I know my limits. Brother, why are you so stubborn? The power of those families is not what you can imagine. It's easy to dodge an open spear, but hard to guard against an arrow from the dark. Andrea opened her rosy lips slightly and looked at the flamboyant boy. Andrea was really unhappy in her heart. She was a little stunned. Why was this boy so ignorant? With her looks, no matter what she said to others, others would obey her. When had she ever been treated like this? A sense of inexplicable shame and anger surged in her heart. Yunfan felt a very complicated emotion from Andrea. He paused slightly and shook his head indifferently. Forget it, do whatever you want. Andrea raised her eyebrows slightly and then shook her head and continued to move forward without bothering to pay attention. Looking at Andrea's back disappearing at the end of the road, Yunfan shook his head and walked towards the direction of the academy library again. Turning a corner, Yunfan looked up at the spacious door in front of him, on which were written the words Intermediate Library. The Intermediate Library is naturally very different from the primary library where Yunfan originally worked. The books here are much richer than those in the primary library. Most of the books in the primary library are for professionals below level 3, while the intermediate library is for professionals at level 4 and above. Listening to the shouting coming from the intermediate library, Yunfan was a little surprised. There are usually few people coming here on weekdays, so why is it so lively today? There are very few professionals who can reach level 4 in the academy, and usually only some tutors come to borrow books. Shrugging his shoulders, Yunfan just turned his mind casually, threw it aside, and stepped into the intermediate library. As soon as he entered the intermediate library, he saw several young men in magician robes, mumbling something around a girl. The girl showed a hint of impatience from time to time. Seeing this, Yunfan smiled and shook his head. Then he didn't say anything, but walked towards the library. Yunfan naturally didn't know that his expression just now had been seen by the girl. What's the matter with that boy? He didn't even look at me, a beautiful woman. Here, the girl muttered angrily in her heart. If Yunfan knew what the girl was thinking, he would not be able to help scolding her. Others pestered you, and you complained that others pestered you. Others ignored you, and you thought they had no vision. Junior Sister Venus, what books do you want to find in the library? I'll help you find it. A young magician who thought he was very handsome said attentively. Junior Sister Venus, actually you don't have to come to the college library to read books. Just tell me, and I'll bring them back to you. Another young magician said. The girl named Venus ignored these attentive young men at all, but got up and walked towards Yunfan. You should be the famous person in the academy, Junior Dante. I didn't expect you to be interested in the magic, mechanical puppetry and alchemy. Hearing someone talking to him, Yunfan raised his head with some curiosity and found that the person talking to him was the girl who was just approached by several young men. Yunfan was a little puzzled as to what this girl wanted to do by finding him. You know, this was the first time he met this girl and he didn't know her identity at all. However, when he saw the figures of the young men following the girl, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Chapter 199 Skeleton Mechanical Puppet. I just want to be a quiet and handsome man. Why is it so difficult? No wonder there is a saying on Earth that beauty is a disaster. He didn't quite understand it when he was on Earth, but he completely understood it here. I didn't expect to meet my junior here. The intermediate library is not for you little guys to come. One of the young magicians threatened. Yunfan has always been easy to understand. Except for the families that have a very bad relationship with him. Not many people remember his true appearance. Yunfan glanced at the young man and shook his head slightly, and then ignored him. What's your attitude, kid? Don't you know that you should be more respectful to your seniors? You will suffer a big loss sooner or later. The young magician gritted his teeth and threatened again. Oh, tell me how you will suffer? Do you want to attack me here? Yunfan leaned leisurely against a bookshelf, holding a book about alchemy in his hand, and his eyes occasionally fell on the young magician. Junior, you are so brave. Do you dare to go to the arena with me? The young magician said to Yunfan viciously. No time. Yunfan said without thinking. In his opinion, his time is very precious now. He has no time to waste on these emotional disputes. Junior, are you still a man? If you are a man, you should duel with me like a man. The young magician said aggressively. What does it have to do with you, whether I'm a man or not? Yunfan shook his head. If you have nothing else to do, leave. You are delaying my reading time. Yunfan looked at the books in his hands again and ignored the shouting young magician. You are very good. You'd better not leave the academy. Otherwise, I must let you know why the flowers are so red. The young magician turned and left the library. The young magician was also a famous figure in the academy. He didn't expect Yunfan to ignore him so much, but because he couldn't take action directly in the academy, he felt that he had lost face. As the saying goes, there is no order without rules. Naturally, students will not be allowed to mess around in the academy. Even if there are big conflicts between students, they cannot fight at will. Unless both parties agree, they can compete in the arena. Those guys who prevented him from reading left, and Yunfan continued to read. Through the study of history of the development of alchemy chronicles in the past half month, Yunfan has a clearer understanding of alchemy. Alchemy can be said to be the science of the world of magic. Whether it is the previous world, whether it is material technology or magic technology, its common feature is that it never stops deepening its understanding of the world it lives in, and uses this understanding to transform it into the ability to serve mankind. No matter what kind of civilization the world is, when civilization develops to a certain extent, it becomes a competition between humans and other creatures for natural resources. Large magic machines for war were manufactured, and various mechanical warriors and mechanical wizards emerged like mushrooms after rain. Each weapon was attached with special magic runes, and possessed magical powers. Unlike the world where Yunfan originally lived, the original intention of people in this world to make magic scrolls and potions was to use them in wars. The driving force behind any technological development was those big forces who use them to plunder resources wantonly. During those crazy years, alchemy became the standard for determining national strength, and huge magic machines were manufactured one after another, which were much more obedient than those professionals. The emergence of the god-killing machine made the gods feel an unprecedented threat, so the gods banned magic machines, and anyone who made the god-killing machine was severely sanctioned by the gods. Alchemy gradually lost its former glory. People found that professionals were still an irreplaceable force on this continent, while the alchemist magic machine lineage began to lose. Although Yunfan does not agree with the values of this world, in order to survive better, he will not give up any opportunity to improve his strength. Maybe one day, when he stands at the top of the continent, he will change the world's perception of magic. Magic is not necessarily used to kill people, but to better serve mankind. From the magic machinery and alchemy, Yunfan saw the way to strengthen his skeleton warrior. Skeleton warriors, who are disdained by other dark magic, have become excellent experimental materials in Yunfan's eyes. What Yunfan is doing now is absolutely beyond everyone's imagination. Number 1 is the first skeleton warrior summoned by Yunfan. After a series of enhancements, not only are they stronger than ordinary 4th level warriors in all aspects, they also have terrifying immunity to light magic. Skeleton warriors are the weakest dark creatures, with low intelligence, and can only act according to the orders of the summoner. This kind of dark creature will be summoned except for some special magicians when using the tactics of the Sea of Undead. After reading the book, Yunfan did not return to the dormitory as usual, but came to the backyard of the grocery store. After reading the books for the past few days, he found some records about refining magic machinery. Yunfan put it into practice again. He decided to try to transform the skeleton warrior by transforming the magic machinery. The first thing you need to refine the magic mechanical puppet is the refining materials. Anyway, it's just an experiment. Yunfan summoned some skeleton warriors from another world as the main materials. There are also some in his space ring. The corpses of some low-level monsters and the ore that were stolen by dogs in Moses Forest became the auxiliary materials for refining magic puppets. Although refining some very powerful magic machinery requires a lot of special materials, Yunfan does not have a formula, and Yunfan does not care about these. Anyway, there is no formula when refining magic machinery at the beginning. Experiments can only have results if they are tried. Yunfan randomly pieced together the materials for refining the skeleton warrior mechanical puppet. Yunfan carved some strengthening magic circles on the floor of his laboratory room, and then placed all the materials he had prepared in the magic circles. Under the traction of mysterious force, the skeleton warrior slowly floated up. Yunfan controlled the auxiliary materials and integrated them into the skeleton warriors little by little. After repeated attempts and improvements, Yunfan soon produced several finished skeleton warrior machines. Although the skeleton warrior machines made by this method were weaker than number 1, they were not as powerful as number 1. Chapter 204 Major Colleges. However, the skeleton warriors made in this way also have their advantages. The materials used to make them are much less and the process is much simpler. It took Yunfan 4 or 5 days to make a total of 10 skeleton warrior mechanical puppets. Yunfan put all these puppets into the small world of the undead. In the past few days, Yunfan has completely controlled the small world of the undead. It is just an idea to summon the undead in the small world of the undead to this world. Time passed quickly, and in a blink of an eye it was time for the competition between the academies. Yunfan and the other 9 students took the space teleportation array to the Imperial capital. Yunfan and others had just arrived at the gate of the Imperial Capital Academy when they were surrounded by a group of students from the Imperial Capital Academy. You are the elite students from Alkaline College. You look ordinary. Of course they are ordinary. How can they compare with the elites of our Imperial Capital College? In the ranking battles of the 4 major colleges over the years, Alkaline College has always ranked last. The 4 major colleges now exist in name only. If their deans were not saint-level strongmen, they would have been squeezed out of the 4 major colleges long ago. Teacher Annie, you watch them. I'll go over to register. Owen Patrick, the vice president of Alkaline College, looked at Teacher Annie with shining eyes and said with a smile, "Well, Dean Patrick, you go. I will take good care of them." Teacher Annie smiled, turned her head to look at the door of the registration office, and sighed. "I don't know what kind of results we can achieve this time." "Don't worry, we will definitely achieve good results this year," Owen Patrick said, while glancing at Yunfan with the corner of his eyes. Among the 10 participants, only Yunfan had no family power. Normally, he should be the weakest. However, Owen Patrick had a very strange feeling, which told him that Ji Yunfan was definitely not simple. Owen Patrick had his own feeling, because he had relied on this feeling to turn danger into safety more than once. The registration of students was very simple. Owen Patrick provided the basic information of the 10 students to the Imperial Capital Academy, and the Imperial Capital Academy made an identity nameplate for them. The identity nameplate can prove that they are students who come to participate in this college exchange. Through the inquiries in the past few days, Ji Yunfan understood that the so-called 4 major colleges, each of which has its own field of expertise. The Imperial Capital Academy is a college dedicated to training warriors and knights, and magicians are not valued here. The training of warriors and knights is also completely separate. The warrior department mainly comes from civilians. They only practice fighting skills in the warrior department. Most of the students in the Knight Academy are from nobles, some major families in the empire, including the children of the royal family, who mostly choose the Imperial Capital Academy. Most of these students are born in extraordinary families, and their families have extremely powerful forces. They not only have to practice fighting skills here, but also learn some aristocratic etiquette, war strategies and the art of command. The Imperial Capital Academy, also known as the Royal Academy, was first established by the royal family to train their own children and generals loyal to the empire. Later, they began to recruit other students. These people learned a variety of knowledge in the Imperial Academy in order to have a good future in their own family or in the empire. The families of these students are extremely wealthy. In order to advance to advanced professionals, they are willing to spend a lot of money to help themselves practice. The Holy Academy and the Sith Magic and Martial Arts Academy, which are known as the 4 major academies together with the Imperial Capital Academy and the Alkaline Academy, are also established by the Holy See. The Holy Academy was established by the Holy See, the largest force on the continent. Almost every empire has such an academy. Although it is said to be a talent supply for the empire, it is more for the Holy See to win over talents. The Sith Magic and Martial Arts Academy was founded by the Empire's first magic and martial arts dual cultivation 3000 years ago. Whether it is a magician heritage or a warrior heritage, it has unparalleled advantages. The ranking battle of the 4 major colleges was originally hosted by the colleges to train and motivate students, but later, with the deliberate support of some people, the ranking battle of the 4 major colleges changed its nature. Not long after, the students of the 4 major colleges had all reported. The 4 major colleges are worthy of being the cradle of the empire's strongmen. Among the students of the 4 major colleges, Ji Yunfan can feel that several students are no worse than him in strength. Just when Ji Yunfan was looking at the students in other colleges, the students in other colleges were also looking at him. Dante. At the same time, a crisp shout suddenly came from a distance. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but look in the direction where the sound came from. He didn't expect to see Avril and others in the Imperial College. Your Highness, Amy, why are you here? Ji Yunfan asked in confusion. Of course I came to watch the game and cheer for you, Avril said with a smile. How is it, your captain? Am I good to you? I begged my father for a long time, and he agreed to let me bring other people to watch your game. Ji Yunfan nodded thoughtfully. So that's the case. No wonder I haven't heard of any cheerleaders coming to cheer. You have to fight for me later, Avril said proudly. Why does your highness have so little confidence in me? Ji Yunfan smiled slightly. Forget it, let's not talk so much. I still have to take them to see my father. We are now special guests, Avril said in a hurry. Looking at the back of Avril who had left, Ji Yunfan couldn't help shaking his head gently. The little girl's personality really hasn't changed at all. You are Dante. You don't look special. I really don't know why my cousin thinks so highly of you and asked me to let you go if I meet you. A young man dressed as a knight walked out of the Imperial Capital Academy, and the young man raised his head and walked in front of Ji Yunfan. Who are you? Who is your cousin? Ji Yunfan frowned slightly and said lightly. What? You don't even know who I am? I, Rafa, am the 3rd strongest person in the Imperial Capital Academy. You haven't heard of it. Before the young man finished speaking, Ji Yunfan said in an extremely calm tone. You little brat, don't get too greedy. Don't think that you are invincible just because you are ranked 4th in Alkaline Academy. There are many people in this world that you can't afford to offend. The young man said viciously. Although there are many people I can't afford to offend, I'm afraid you are not one of them. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.